Everybody, Mike Missanelli Show, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. A lot of things to talk about today. Let's first of all update you. Phil's supposed to have a doubleheader today. I have no idea whether they're going to have a doubleheader. Are they going to try to play the game at 12 o'clock in this weather? I have no idea. Do we have an update on that? I guess they're going to keep trying to play it. So that's the story today.
It's a 105 start, but it'll be close, I think.
All right, they're going to try to get him in. Might as well. We'll keep you updated on that. The other big news, Pete Rose off the restricted list. A lot of people saying, well, now that it opens it up for him to go to the Hall of Fame, do I really care? Nah, one way or the other, I don't care. Should I? Should I care? I don't know. I'm supposed to care, I guess, if he goes to the Hall of Fame. A lot of people that believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, and it's egregious that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I go, what's the difference? I know how good of a player he was. I also know what he did that kept him out of the Hall of Fame and on this restricted list. I know the same thing that has happened to the Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens of the world. And I don't care one way or the other. Their career spoke for itself. Their career is their career. Whether they go in the Hall of Fame means nothing more to me, but it might mean to a lot of people. But today, I think we should feature a comment that was made by the head basketball coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Nick Nurse. I don't know if this was a Freudian slip or what, but we're going to start out the show. You see, this plays right into my thing with Embiid, and that we've seen the best of him. We've seen the best of him physically, and I also think we've seen the best of him mentally, Bill, which is something you're not putting in the equation. Bill Colarulo's with me. Ray Dunn's with me. I'll get to Ray in a second because he took home a piece of eaten bread last night from a restaurant. Hard to believe that he posted it, but in any, we'll get to him in a second. But let's start with it. Ray, can you play that? I want people to listen to this. I hope your ears are peeled here. I want you to listen really closely as to what Nick Nurse says. Now, this is from our pal Mike Gill, who does weekends here, and he has his own show in Atlantic City. And he was able to get Nick Nurse on the show. And so here's what Nick Nurse said about the collapse of the season and why they decided to just kind of shut it down and play for the lottery.
I don't know the exact, pinpoint of when it was, but, the rough general, the trade deadline comes and goes, and we make another little run to get some guys back healthy, and we just started losing more guys. And Joel didn't, who decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year, and Tyrese got hurt. At that point, you were kind of like, this is not our year.
Embiid decided that he didn't want to play the rest of the year. Is that what he just said? Am I misreading this here?
I don't know. Right? Can you play it again? Because he kind of like double speaks real quick. I'm trying to read into this on what he says there.
The trade deadline comes and goes, and we make another little run to get some guys back healthy, and we just started losing more guys. And Joel didn't, who decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year. And
all right, so he says Joel didn't decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year. I don't know what to make of this, Mike, because is this a situation where they came out and they said to Joel, you're capable of playing, you're healthy enough to play, and he says, no, I don't want to? Or is it a situation where he was given a couple of options medically and the decision was made, okay, well, we're just going to shut it down in light of where this season is going?
Do you recall he said he needed surgery? He was the guy who said he needed surgery. Did you remember that?
Yes, he was the one.
He's the guy that came out and said, nobody else said it. He said, yeah, I need surgery, blah, blah, blah. Remember?
Yeah, and he felt like he was limited on the court.
Uh-huh. You're taking his side, which is admirable.
I'm not taking his side.
I want you to listen to the pause, though, because Nurse is coming up on a thought here, and he knows where he's headed with this, and he pauses. And to me, this is the telltale sign.
Started losing more guys, and Joel didn't, who decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year.
Did you hear the pause there?
Yeah, he sounds frustrated.
The pause, what he was going to say, what he was said, but he tried to filter it. And then he wound up saying it anyway. To me, that's the telltale. Joel decided he did not want to play the rest of the year. And this goes back to my point. This is why at this stage of his life and his career, you cannot trust him physically or mentally.
All right. I understand the not trusting part because of the physical nature of Joel Embiid's knees. It's very difficult to say, yes, for sure, Joel's going to be 100% healthy and everything's going to be fine. But I still can't take the leap to mentally the guy doesn't want to play basketball. Because if he did, in fact, decide that he didn't want to play the rest of the season, it wasn't because what some people are saying, oh, well, he got his big payday, he's done, he doesn't care about basketball. It was because he felt he was limited on the court. You saw this season, when Joel Embiid was playing, he did not look like the Joel Embiid of last year.
Sometimes he did.
Not consistently.
Sometimes he did. You brought it up 100 times yesterday, how he scored 50 points.
That was last season.
Okay, this year he had a couple big games.
But he never looked right, and the knee never felt right, I'm sure. So I agree with you in that trusting him is a dangerous proposition, and that's what we're doing.
I don't trust him. I no longer trust the guy. I'm sorry. If that sounds harsh, then it's harsh. I no longer. We have seen the best of Joel Embiid. So to think that all of a sudden this miracle thing is going to happen next year, and he's going to play, and he and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and his three-headed monster is going to steamroll the Eastern Conference, I ain't buying it. This is why I believe that he needs to be moved. They need to go in a different direction with Joel Embiid.
Okay. But what you just said, that you're not buying it, you're not trusting Joel. What's his value then, Mike?
Well, you got to get somebody to buy into what you buy into. You're the guy that's buying into it. There's always another Bill Colarulo out there.
See, I think you're misrepresenting me buying in. What I'm saying is you're not going to be able to move Joel. So the only chance you have is to hope that he's healthy.
You are going to be able to move him. There is always another sucker who wants to believe that that miracles will happen, and they acquired a guy who could be the most dominant player in the league.
But the question is that sucker going to give you something that's actually going to change the franchise for the better?
It doesn't matter. You have to now retool what the Sixers are. This is my point. You got to retool it. The day and age of the dominant center like Embiid is gone in the NBA. It's gone. You got the Joker who rises way above everybody, and then you got athletic centers who are rim protectors or whatever. That's where the league has gone here.
Yeah, I just think that the mistake that was made here goes back to when they gave Joel the contract extension, because even if you're right, that you could find a sucker to give a trade package together for Joel, I think it's less likely now that you're strapped with Joel for another 4 seasons. Is a general manager on another team going to be willing to give up something that really is worth value for a 4-year contract where there's all this unknown?
You give up a bunch of players to make up a salary. That's what you do.
But is that going to change anything for the Sixers?
Doesn't matter. At this point, what am I? You mean to think that I still have hope for the Sixers? At this stage, you think I come into next year with hope that they're going to do something anyway? What's the difference?
Yeah, so you want to make a change just to make
I'm making a change because now you got to start changing. And if it sets you back in time, it sets you back in time.
If you could trade Joel and you could get anything of value, I'm on board with you, Mike. But my position is I don't think you can.
Doesn't matter.
And I think you just have to hope the guy can come back and play.
Doesn't matter at this point that you got to get something of value. You got to turn this thing over. It's like dough. You got to turn it right over. Knead it.
You make your own bread, huh?
No, I don't make my own bread. General Knowledge Wednesday. All right. We got a couple topics, including the Pete Rose topic. That's hot. It was hot in the morning show. John thinks he should be in. And I don't care one way or the other. I really don't. I'm left without care. But General Knowledge Wednesday, a pair of tickets to see The Who. What?
Whoa.
One of the top 5 rock bands ever.
Pinball Wizard.
A pair of tickets to see The Who at the Wells Fargo Center. And that's the General Knowledge Prize today. I will give you the topics after this. It's going to be a little different. It's Ray against the audience, but it's also Bill with a special category to see if he can accumulate enough points to beat the audience. The category is, for all you hockey fans, about hockey.
Wow.
610-632-0975. We're back after this.
We want to hear from you.
Missanelli Show. General Knowledge Wednesday. Our topics today. General knowledge category. What's bigger?
Interesting.
I give you a choice, Ray, of two things. You got to tell me which one is bigger. 50% chance. Next one.
Ray's look at me. That was a very juvenile look, Ray.
Words pertaining to things. Words pertaining to things. For instance, if I give you the word solar, that
Energy.
That pertains to what?
Oh, the sun.
Correct. And the special category for you, Bill, NHL hockey. Now, that could come in many forms, Bill. So,
Yeah, it's going to be hard, I think.
oh, well, you're Mr. Hockey. See, the point is...
Used to be.
No, I think you're still Mr. Hockey. You still go to the games. You're still a season ticket holder.
Billy Blue Line is Ray likes.
That's right, Billy Blue Line. And you're going to get tickets to the Who today. All right, so let's go from the Embiid thing to the Pete Rose thing, and tell me why I don't care as much as a lot of other people about Pete Rose going into the Hall of Fame. First of all, let's lay it out here. Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame because he broke a sacred rule in baseball. You can't bet on teams, and he bet on his own team. It documented the investigation. It couldn't make it any clearer what he did. He finally admitted it a little later after denying it all these years. And so he was banned from baseball, and he was put on the restricted list of baseball, which meant, and then the Hall of Fame has this rule where anybody restricted list, you can't be voted in to the Hall of Fame. You're not even on the ballot. So now, apparently, he could be on the ballot. That doesn't mean that the writers or the people who vote for this will put him in the Hall of Fame, because he still has that taint in the eyes of a lot of people. So, Bill, tell me why that this is an important subject to you.
You know, I'm probably more along with you that I don't care that much about it. Like, I'm not this huge Pete Rose fan that cares that he gets in or doesn't get in. But when you do look at the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's strange that Pete Rose, who has the most hits all time, the most games played all time, the most at-bats all time, a 17-time All-Star, won the World Series 3 times, an NL MVP, a World Series MVP, an NL Rookie of the Year, a 3-time batting champ. I mean, the list goes on and on. You're talking about one of the best baseball players to ever play the game. It's strange that he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I understand the reasons why. But once they remove him from this restricted list, the only reason to do that, after he died, it's not so he can go to games. He can't go to games anymore. He's dead. It's not so he can coach baseball again. He's dead. So the only reason to do it is to open up the door that he would get voted into the Hall of Fame. So I think it will finally happen, and I think it should at this point when you look at all these records. And then I'll take it a step further, Mike. I think Barry Bonds should be in. I think Roger Clemens should be in. I know that they were during the steroid era, but guess what? Major League Baseball didn't stop them from taking steroids then. Major League Baseball had no problem making money off of the steroid era. So there was nothing that prevented them from doing it back then. They did it. Barry Bonds, most home runs in a career, most home runs in a single season. Roger Clemens, most Cy Young awards. I think all these guys should be in the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Good Samaritans. It's not. It's the Hall of Fame when it comes to what you do on the baseball diamond. Let them all in because they deserve to be from a baseball perspective. Mic drop.
Okay. I'll just play devil's advocate because, again, I kind of agree with you. I really don't care who's in the Hall of Fame and who's out of the Hall of Fame. I know what their careers were. The argument for the steroids thing, well, there's actually 2 arguments. They technically did not break a baseball rule. Like, they broke, they did something illegal. Right?
However,
yeah,
I agree with you. We know deep down they did it. Mm-hmm. But there's really no proof that they did it. They weren't being tested then and tested positive. Like, we just know. Like, you look at Barry Bonds, like, yeah, clearly the guy was on HGH.
Yeah.
But we can't ever prove that.
Yeah, I get it. My point on this, though, is that Pete Rose, there is that rule is posted in every Major League clubhouse that it is impermissible to bet on games. Like, that's a baseball rule that he broke.
And it's a good rule.
Yeah, there's no rule that says thou shalt not take steroids that's posted, right? Those guys did it on their own to enhance their ability.
Yes.
The fact that they enhance their ability, does that help them make a case for their abilities being worthy to go into the Hall of Fame? That's what you have to decide on that. Well, in the situation of Pete Rose, now, I heard John today. I think John Kincade is alluding to the fact that a lot of people find Pete Rose to be a heinous individual because recently it came out that he had some kind of an affair with an underage girl during his career, and anybody that has poor character should then be taken out of the Hall of Fame because there's a lot of people with poor character that got involved in the Hall of Fame. Take that aside. Take that and put it in a box and put it on a shelf for a second. he broke a baseball rule. Like, it's not about his moral character that he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's because he broke that golden rule that you cannot bet on baseball games, and then he lied about it for years.
And I understand that, and I that rule. I don't want to hear the excuse though. Well, he bet on his own team, because anybody who has a problem with gambling, if he had lost enough, there would have been a chance he wouldn't have been betting on his own team if he had to, come back from some bad beats. You never know what could happen. That's why the rule's there. But once Major League Baseball makes a decision, once the commissioner makes a decision that he's no longer on the restricted list, I don't think that the Hall of Fame voters should consider, well, he bet on baseball, so we're not going to let him in. That's done now. That shouldn't be in the equation. If the commissioner would have said he remains on the restricted list, then you don't vote him in. But now I think he has to be voted in simply based off of his baseball abilities. And I think that was John's point. Don't give me the moral ground now, because it's not about the moral stuff. It's not about the gambling. He's no longer on the restricted list.
It doesn't matter. He did what he did. Like, you can't ignore. Like, it's like when a judge says, jury, disregard that statement. You still heard the statement. In this particular situation, you still know what he did.
I get that, but when you're a Hall of Fame voter, do you still consider that he bet on baseball?
Of course you do.
But if the commissioner is telling you, we've removed him from the restricted list.
The commissioner is just letting himself off the hook. He's saying, now it's up to you guys.
But why else do it other than for the Hall of Fame? There's no other reason.
He's doing it because he's dead. And he's saying, okay, well, our memories now, we can forgive once somebody's dead. You look at a person completely different when they die, right? They can't fight back anymore. You go, what's the difference? 610-632-097. It's a good discussion, and I know a lot of people have opinions on this. So 610-632-0975 is how you get in on the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles-Chiefs rematch in Week 2. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain, the Eagles are headed to Kansas City for a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs in Week 2. That means the Eagles will open up on Thursday Night Football with the Cowboys, then followed up with a trip to KC 10 days later. We've now got 5 of the Eagles games on the schedule, and they're on prime time for 4 of them. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas this morning, talked about how in demand this Eagles team is.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
You can listen to that full interview on our website, 975thefanatic.com. We'll keep you updated with more schedule leaks throughout the day ahead of the full NFL schedule being announced tonight. Phillies play a doubleheader today with the Cardinals, and the first game is at 1:05. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for that one. Game 2 at 6:15 with Aaron Nola on the mound. We found out the 76ers will pick 3rd in the NBA draft coming up next month. That's putting them in position to potentially select Rutgers' Ace Bailey, or if Dylan Harper is to fall from pick 2. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we will talk to Rutgers men's basketball coach Steve Peichel about both of those players. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like 2025 E-Class, CLV Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry it now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic Weekend with Andrew Ditch.
7-5, The Fanatic. Pete Rose topic. It gets people talking. It really does. And people are interested in the fact that, I don't know, I guess it's the people who watched baseball during his career, I think, get more offended than anybody. It's like because he was one of them. You know, that he was in that era, that golden era of really good baseball, the Big Red Machine and all that kind of thing with all those guys. And he was certainly the linchpin. And he had a certain charm about him, although most people would look at him kind of as a rude, crude creep.
Yeah, and I also think in this city, was a connection to Pete Rose because of what he did for the Phillies teams. I mean, even though, like, we got an email yesterday from Phillies media relations right when the announcement was made, and it says the Phillies support today's decision. And then they cite to Pete Rose as being one of the greatest players in the history of the game. And they even included a quote in the press release from Mike Schmidt.
Well, Mike Schmidt has championed his cause for many years.
Yes.
To get him in the Hall of Fame.
And I think Mike Schmidt, the Phillies franchise, kind of echoes what a lot of the Philadelphia Philly fans feel that he should be in.
But again, he did something that is clearly that you don't cross the line on. And I don't know how people can go back, just forget about that. Yeah, and this notion that, well, he only bet on his team to win, that means nothing to me. Because you're then managing the game for your own personal benefit.
No, I'm with you on that. And like I said, too, what if he was having a couple bad beats? Like, what if things are going really bad? You don't know what he would have done.
Suppose he stretches out a relief pitcher that doesn't need to be stretched out.
To win that game.
That game. And, like there's so many things you could look at and go, that's really a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, and I believe he admitted to only doing it when he was the manager, not a player, but I think being the manager makes it even worse.
I don't think there's any question that he bet as a player.
I would agree with you. I mean, if you're doing it as a manager, you probably were doing it your whole career.
Well, of course you are.
But
he was addicted to gambling. He had to go to the dog track every time in Florida. He had to go to the horse races. He was addicted to that kind of action. He never admitted that he was a gambling addict.
No, he definitely was. He
was in denial most of the time for this whole thing when people tried to help him. Now, I'm not trying to make a case that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because I really couldn't care one way or the other. I think this is a subject for most other people to weigh in on. So let's go to Darren in North Philly to open up the show. Darren, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Darren?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you feel this morning?
What's happening, Darren?
Oh, man, listen, let me explain something to you, Mike. You got this thing completely wrong, brother. You living like you
I
back
didn't even say anything. I don't even know what I said. I didn't say he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
You didn't say anything directly. What you've been saying is that it's no doubt about it. It's clear cut. You've been saying,
it is clear cut. He bet on baseball.
He cheated you said he cheated when he was a player. Did you not say that?
I said he bet on baseball when he was a player too. Yes.
Did you not? You're a lawyer. You hear me exactly. Did you or did you not say he cheated as a player a second ago?
What, cheated as a player? What does that mean, cheated? I didn't say he cheated as a player. I said he bet on the game and he.
You didn't just say that he assumed that we can assume that he cheated as a player.
What are you talking? You're using the word cheat. I'm saying bet on baseball. Bet. He bet on baseball. That's not cheating. What's cheat coming?
Okay, very good, very good. So let's just get this straight then. Dig this. He was a player. He could have retired 5 years afterwards and went into the Hall. And then as a manager, that's when he got caught, correct?
Yeah.
Listen,
but dude, Darren, whether he was a player or manager, he broke a rule that's posted in a clubhouse. So why? So why he did it as a manager? You can still influence the game as a manager. You don't influence the game as a manager?
I would debate you, and I promise you.
Well, I'm asking you a simple question.
It will embarrass you.
Darren, you will not embarrass me ever. But the question, the question I'll go directly to you is this. Let me ask you the question. Can you influence the game as a manager? If you're betting on the game, can you influence the game as a manager?
As a manager, yes.
Oh, well, that's it. End of story.
He's not in the Hall of Fame as a manager. That's the point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter whether he's in as a player or a manager.
Respectfully, I think that's the part that you're missing. And I think that's what society is tired of listening to guys like you make these bogus assertions.
Darren, first of all, I didn't say he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, so I don't know what you got your feathers in an uproar here. All right, your feathers are in an uproar for no reason. If you're going to make the case that he bet on baseball, that he bet on it as a manager or a player, does not matter. It does not matter. Either way, you can influence the game. Now, as a player, you're almost playing more to win than as a manager. Because other people influence that result. As a manager, you can influence the result more than if you go 3 for 4 sometimes.
I'm not sure why Darren was so mad at you.
I don't know why either. I didn't say he cheated. I said he bet on games. He broke a rule that is posted. There's not a rule posted that said you can't not put a syringe in your ass to beef yourself up on steroids. That's not a rule. That's illegal.
But see, my thing is, I'm in agreement with you about the gambling thing. It can't be in the game. But once the commissioner takes him off the restricted list, I don't think that the Hall of Fame that's putting you in there based off of what you did on the field should now hold the gambling thing against you.
The Hall of Fame is not the entity that puts you in. You're voted in by people.
Yes,
people vote you in the Hall of Fame.
By the writers.
Or whoever has a vote.
And I don't think that they should hold the fact that he gambled against him from voting him in.
Why not?
Because his accomplishments on the baseball field are enough to put him in, and once the commissioner removes him from the restricted list, I don't think you should consider it anymore.
It's everybody's personal view. If you're a voter, you go, what he did was so heinous, I cannot, in good conscience, vote for him to go to the Hall of Fame. It's simple. People still remember what he did. 610-632-0975, back after this.
Connor Thomas.
If you're an opposing team,
41. So full disclosure on Pete Rose. He co-hosted a couple of shows with me at this radio station.
Back in the day?
Yeah. We had him in, and he was charming. He tells baseball stories. Some of the stories he's told are they're hysterical, old baseball stories, crude baseball stories. He was a very crude man. And the last time I was with him, I actually dined at his table at Cooperstown. When he would go there every year and sign autographs in his storefront, just to stick it up their rear end that he was in town and he wasn't allowed to be in the Hall of Fame. Jason Stark's Hall of Fame induction several years ago, we sat at a table. He's good friends with Larry Christensen, former Philly. I was with Larry. I had to have dinner with Pete, the whole bit. And Johnny Sunshine was with me.
Wow.
And I go,
how long ago was this?
When did Jason Stark get inducted in the Hall of Fame? Whatever year that was. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I'll look it up.
All right. So in any event, I'd say to John, I go, listen, Pete's going to come over here. He's going to see me and say hello, and I guarantee he's going to tell you the Joe DiMaggio story. And he goes, what's the Joe DiMaggio story? I said, I can't tell you. He'll tell you. And he tells this crude story about Joe DiMaggio, much like Donald Trump told the crude story, remark about Arnold Palmer.
Oh, that was what the story was about?
Yeah. So, he's one of those guys that he has no filter whatsoever, and he'll just say stuff to strangers. And but that's not really the point. The point is that there are people that will judge him, that, like, the voters take this responsibility for the Hall of Fame, that they're guardians of the game. And in being a guardian of the game, somebody crosses the line and bets on the game, which can actually influence the result of the game and makes the game phony. They're not going to go as far as to vote him in the Hall of Fame because they know his numbers belong in the Hall of Fame. It's human judgment, the Hall of Fame is.
And I understand it, but I disagree with it. Like, I just don't think that based off of what the guy did as a baseball player, he should be in.
No, listen, I know exactly what you're saying. What you're missing is you think that because this is now this has freed up Pete Rose to go into the Hall of Fame, it has to go to a whole new level. Like you're assuming this automatically makes him walk through the door. Well, not figuratively.
Yes,
but
figuratively.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't think, why else does the commissioner do it but for the Hall of Fame vote?
The commissioner doesn't know whether they're going to vote him in.
So then why now, though? Why on a Tuesday in May do they decide we're going to do it?
The commissioner's legacy will be he was the guy that actually opened the door for Pete Rose to go into the Hall of Fame. He's dead now. He can't hurt anybody else. He can't make any more crude statements. He can't come on NBC Sports Philadelphia when they brought the alumni back and called the female reporter Babe or whatever he called her.
Yeah, that was 50 years ago, Babe, whatever he said, right? She was asking him about
talking about
the other reason people don't like him, which is rightfully so.
The underage girl.
Yes. And again, if we were basing him off of a human being, I would say no. You don't put him in the Hall of Fame when it comes to good Samaritans and human beings. But we're talking about baseball and what he did, and his accomplishments should put him in. And that's when I brought up the Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, a little bit different because they didn't break any rules at the time. We never found out. There was never a test that showed, even though we all know deep down that Barry Bonds took steroids. Mm-hmm. There was no test that showed it. There was nothing violating that.
In a lot of ways, it's easier to vote Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame based on numbers because you think they're legit numbers than to vote Bonds and Clemens in because they may be illegitimate numbers.
They may be, but that's the thing. It's a maybe. I get it. We assume it, but we can't 100% guarantee it. And there was nothing. Baseball didn't suspend them then. Barry Bonds wasn't suspended that season for doing it.
If you're a voter, you ask yourself this question. Did steroids influence their lofty performances? And if you come up to the conclusion that, yes, you think it did, then how could you vote him in?
Yeah, well, I agree. There's no doubt about it. Barry Bonds was a great baseball player pre-steroids, and him taking steroids made him a superhuman baseball player.
Okay, got it.
But there was nothing in place at the time that tested him for this that 100% shows that he was doing it.
It doesn't matter that he wasn't tested. If you know he did, and then you can then go to the next level. Well, he did, and that influenced his numbers. That's really, as a voter, the only thing you can do. You can pretty much say for certain that the steroid effect influenced their positive numbers. Can you not?
Yes, you can.
Okay, in that case, when you vote, you have a dilemma. Because you're voting on something that may not be real.
I understand it. But at the same time, when all of it was going on, like even going back to when McGuire and Sosa were chasing Maris's record.
They weren't tested.
Like, they were like interrupting
it doesn't matter
television
that
broadcasts.
They weren't tested. I get it. The nation was captivated by it. Baseball didn't really care because it brought baseball to a higher level. I get all that. I'm boiling it down to you're a voter. You got these guys in front of you. You go, okay, this guy broke a baseball rule. That's a taint that I can't live with. I'm not voting him in. When it comes to Bonds, that's a taint that I can't live with. You're voting. You assume that you're at a lofty plateau as a voter. I think it's all horse bleep, but baseball people who vote think they're guardians of the game.
Yeah, they do.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles-Chiefs rematch in Week 2. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain, the Eagles are headed to Kansas City for a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs in Week 2. That means the Eagles will open up on Thursday Night Football with the Cowboys and followed up with a trip to Kansas City 10 days later. We've now got 5 and potentially 6 of the Eagles games on the schedule. As it's being reported, the Eagles are going to play Week 6 on Thursday Night Football against the Giants. And then the Eagles are going to be on 5 primetime games already. Adam Schefter joined Kincade, Salciunas this morning, talked about how in demand this Eagles team is.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
You're going to get the full schedule tonight at 8 o'clock as the NFL unveils the entire schedule again. 6 games already out there for the Eagles. For the Phillies today, it's supposed to be a doubleheader. Don't look outside at the rain. First game's supposed to be at 1:05 with Jesus Luzardo on the mound. Game 2, 6:15 with Aaron Nola on the mound. Found out the 76ers are picking third in the NBA draft. Puts them in a position to select maybe one of the Rutgers players. We'll be joined by Rutgers men's basketball coach Steve Peichel coming up at 1 o'clock to talk about those guys. This update is brought to you by 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. 2025 FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Philadelphia. Get ready for Global Soccer Showdown. Lincoln Financial Field. Don't just watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show. Don't forget, a little later in the show, Steve Peichel, head coach of Rutgers, who coached Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Get the scouting report on both of those fine players who were in play for the Sixers. But the Pete Rose topic is dominating the proceedings this morning. I'm guessing that more people feel more comfortable about him being in the Hall of Fame than not.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's been a long time that they've kept him out. It's funny because he became the persecuted. He broke the rule. He became the persecuted.
Yeah, he did.
All right, let's go to the phones. Nick and Briarcliff's been hanging. Nick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Morning, gentlemen.
What's up, Nick?
I got a quick NBA point that I want to talk about the Hall of Fame a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And also, more important than the Hall of Fame is the general knowledge, and that hasn't come up yet. But anyway,
Yes, you're in, buddy.
okay, cool. All right, so I've been saying for years I had to trade Embiid at his peak value because he's one of those like freak attributes like a Yao Ming or Greg Oden where that body just doesn't hold up. Over time.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely checked out. I think the Sixers are done. And yesterday, you guys were entertaining the idea of getting Giannis and question whether they both could exist on the floor. And Embiid spends more time laying on the floor than he does in the paint, so I'm sure those two could exist on the floor.
That's a little unfair.
All right.
Yeah, I know. You're hating right now.
It's just so many years of frustration, and I was going to playoff games, and they just burn out of them. I'm just done with the Sixers at this point.
I am burned out, too. I really think they need to change the whole landscape.
Well, I think it's a little pathetic when every season we say the success of the Sixers is based on one man's health. Like, is that a good blueprint? I mean, it's brutal.
No, you're right. And the health isn't going to get better.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. Right. Now, my quick Hall of Fame point. Now, Pete Rose, I mean, numbers-wise, I agree with Bill 100%. He deserves to be in there, the kind of person he is. I mean, it's an old boys club. It's a separate entity, the Hall of Fame, as opposed to the stats that go with it. But like I look at these guys you talk about, they're juiced up. Like Pete Rose broke a rule. These guys didn't break any rule. And to say like Barry Bonds is juiced up, he's a batter. Roger Clemens juiced up, he's a pitcher. So if it's that era where everyone's juiced up, I mean it is what it is. They didn't break a single rule, like I said. And after that strike,
they did break a rule. They did something illegal. They broke a law.
Well, they broke a law, sure. Well,
Simpson
broke a law, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, but that was before. He got in the Hall of Fame before that whole thing went down. This went down in real time.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sort of like Major League Baseball is sort of to blame for that because after the strike, they were so desperate to get people back in the seats that they didn't have a rule against steroids. And then what happened was they turned like a blind eye to steroids. And then once they made a rule about the steroids, all of a sudden they start building like these bandbox ballparks where the balls will fly out because apparently the home run attracts the viewers.
Yeah, no, I get it. You make a good point. But again, it's all subjective to the voter. They haven't gotten any traction to get in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds they could be voted in. So they're making a value judgment on that. They're saying, no, they're not worthy to go in the Hall of Fame because the steroids influence their performance. This is a completely different thing. We'll see how many people vote their conscience on this.
I got you.
All right, man. General knowledge for you. It is the general knowledge category. What does c'est la vie mean in English?
Say goodbye?
No, it's that. That's life. C'est la vie means. That's life. C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Is that like whatever will be, will be?
Yeah.
Is that connected? Is that part of that song?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
We haven't heard Ray's voice yet, have we?
Hello, Ray.
I've done updates. Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Ray.
Ray's done updates. Ray, it's your general knowledge.
Yeah,
question.
you got your general knowledge now. You could take a 1-0 lead, commanding lead to start.
Ray, what company acquired the rights to the Star Wars franchise in 2012?
Disney.
Correct.
Wow.
Ray strikes gold early on.
Layup lines early.
Yes. All right, so Ray won, audience 0. We're playing for who tickets, by the way.
Who?
Yeah. Bill, you have your own separate category.
Billy Blue Line, baby.
So let's get to it.
Oh, we're going NHL already.
NHL hockey.
Oh, boy.
Who has the record for goals by a defenseman for his career? 410.
Paul Coffey.
The career was from 1979 to 2001.
Paul Coffey.
Incorrect.
It's Ray Bork. Isn't it?
It's Ray Bork.
Damn it! I thought Ray Bork.
See, he was close.
Damn.
It was one or the other.
I know. I should have gone Ray Bork. I got it wrong.
Oh, well. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show, by the way. It is 97.5, The Fanatic, WPEN, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live every day from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities, except for when we're not here in the studio, when we're on remote, like we're at the golf tournament last week.
Yes. And I think we'll actually, in a couple weeks, we'll be at another golf event.
We will?
Over at Liberty Hill in
Oh, that's right. We will be over there.
Yeah, that's a nice course.
Yes. All right, so we're in the 11 o'clock hour. So let's keep this conversation going. A lot of people want to chime in on this whole thing. So let's go to, where are we going, to Reggie? Reggie checking in? Reggie is currently in Ohio with the truck. Reggie, how you doing today?
All right, good. How you doing, Mike?
Good. We got to get, here's your intro song. Hold on. Here we go.
Hey.
All right. There you go. All right, Reg, go ahead.
All right. Did I say hello to Ray? Because, Ray's important.
Yes, you can say hello to Ray. Ray appreciates when you say hello to him.
All right. Bill, how you doing, Bill?
Good to hear from you, my man.
Oh, is that right? All right. One, Pete Rose, his numbers, Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall. His numbers should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add on that. When I've always felt he should be in the Hall of Fame, and when I talked with people before, I said you can't have a Hall of Fame in any sport starting with the number 2 set of numbers in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then trust in a relationship, personal business relationships. When there is no trust, when there is no respect, and you don't like, those 3 things go together. And Joel, I feel the same way you do. He's broken the trust. I do not trust him, I can't hope he gets better because Moray Eel. Can I call him that? Can I make that his new name?
You usually do call him Moray Eel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moray Eel said that there is still potential for Joel Embiid to be a good player. Still potential. That is a probability.
Well, he said there's potential for him to be a dominant force again.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think so. Also, He has said that he didn't say he got a call from the doctors, but as the general manager and the vice president of basketball operations, he said he read a report. So he has no idea what was going on with one of his employees. How do you read a report if you're the...
Well, you're not going to diagnose it yourself. You got to trust what's in the report by the doctor.
No, not from the doctors. He read a report of someone else getting information about what that surgery was. So he still has no idea what the surgery was for.
Yeah, I don't know if he said that, but he didn't tell us what the surgery was.
And in the interview, when you asked him questions, one of his answers was that he had read a report that Joel had surgery. He didn't say it was the medical report. He said he read a report that...
No, I don't think he said that, to be honest. I don't think he said
I don't remember that.
He read a report. They knew he had surgery.
Is that inaccurate, right? I think that was an inaccurate statement.
Yeah. I
don't want Reggie to think I'm coming after him.
No, Reggie misheard it. All right, let's go to, let's see, Dave in Scranton's checking in. Dave, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike. How you guys? Good to have you back on the air, Mike.
Thanks, buddy.
And, hey, Pete Rose, he was a crude, nasty man, but he was a great baseball player. Even the old guys, my dad, everybody, Charlie Hustle, they loved him. You know what I mean? So if you're a bowler and you bowl for him, I'm fine with that. Let them vote the way they feel. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what they
And,
have to do. They're going to vote the way they feel. Now, it'll be
Yep,
interesting.
yep.
Now that they had the excuse not to vote for him because he was on the restricted list and they couldn't.
Yeah.
But now we'll see.
And Joel Embiid, like he could never finish a game. Years ago, when he was allegedly healthy, he never make a game-winning shot. He'd always miss it.
Yeah, come on now, Dave. You don't sell him short. He's had some great moments as a player here.
Yeah, he's been great, but I remember fourth quarter tugging on his shorts at the foul line, breathing hard like everybody, but I don't know. I don't. He was good, but I don't think he's got to come back as good, Mike.
I hear you, Dave. All right, Dave, listen, you want to play general knowledge with us today?
Sure, I'll give it a try.
All right, Dave. Here's the general knowledge. Which is bigger? I'm going to give you two things. Which is bigger, Earth or Mars?
Earth.
That is correct. Wow. Hold on a second, Dave. All right, let me put him on hold. There, I put him on hold. All right, so the audience gets one. Ray? What is bigger, Africa or South America?
Africa.
Africa is correct.
Wow, Ray, 2 for 2.
Ray hits big. And now it's time for Bill. The hockey question. Bill, who holds the record for goals in a season as a rookie?
Is it a tie?
No. He did it 92-93 season.
Oh, 92-93 season. I was going to go with Teemu Solani.
Oh, my God. That's unbelievable. That's right.
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
I thought it was a tie between him and Alexander McGillney because they both had 76 goals one year.
Teemu Solani had 76. Alexander McGillney didn't.
I think McGillney may have had 76 that year as well.
I don't think so.
But he wasn't a rookie.
They would have had him.
I don't think he was a rookie.
Oh, he wasn't a rookie.
Yes, I think they both had 76
Look
goals.
at you with your hockey knowledge. Is that impressive, Ray? Teemu
Very
Solani?
impressive. Very
That
impressive.
was totally impressive.
And I was correct. McGillney also scored 76.
Look at you, man.
92-93.
Look at you, Mr. Hockey.
I
This
was
is
back
why-
then.
This is why I did this category.
I was back then.
That was your prime right there.
It was, man. I was 10 years old.
Teemu Solani. From where?
Where is Teemu from? Finland, right?
That's correct.
Look at this. I get all these points.
And who did he play for?
The Jets.
610-632-0975. The Pete Rose debate. It's a fun debate. A lot of people like to weigh in on it. Gambling in sports. Does that taint him from ever being in the Hall of Fame? Mike Missanelli Show continues.
ESPN's
the NBA playoffs. Who would have thunk that the Indiana Pacers and the Knicks are going to be playing for the Eastern Conference Championship, Billy?
It's honestly, you look back at this Sixers season, and it makes it even more frustrating because Eastern Conference was wide open. You're talking the Knicks and the Pacers. We weren't worried about that. We were worried about the Celtics coming into this season. We were worried about the Cavs.
I'm flabbergasted. I bet the Cavs last night. I thought sure they had one game in them at home. They lost 3 games at home.
Yeah, I was surprised they lost last night.
Boy, that's it. You talk about a disappointing season. That team fell apart.
I think I saw something today. Like, how many home games did they actually lose all regular season?
I don't know.
I want to look that up.
They're usually pretty good there.
So at home
But
this
Indiana
year,
took their heart.
wow, this season at home, the Cleveland Cavs only lost 7 games.
Man, that's an all-time foldo right there. Now, they were banged up a little bit, but still, the Indiana Pacers should not beat you in 5.
Man, Tyrese Halliburton.
That's crazy, man.
You had asked a couple weeks ago would I trade Maxey for him. I said no. I think I would.
You would now?
I think I would. Especially after a disappointing first quarter. The guy goes on fire the rest of the game.
The Boston Celtics, without Jason Tatum,
Done.
are 4.5-point favorites tonight against the Knicks.
That line is interesting. It's in Boston, right?
Yes.
If you're reading the line, this is telling you it's a Boston win, isn't it? Mikey Miss likes to read the line.
See, here's the thing. This is the reverse psychology of the bookmaker. Everybody on earth saying, the Celtics are done without Tatum. And somehow they'll put together an effort. Hence, they're a 4.5-point favorite.
It's a Boston line, isn't it?
It's the total Boston line. I may get sucked into it, man.
Well, you need it after you bet Cleveland last night.
Yeah, I need a rebound here. All right. In any event, let's get back to the phones, and we will talk to, let's see. It's Coley King in Westchester, who says he was friends with Pete Rose as a kid. What's up, Coley?
Kalai.
Kalai? What's up, Kalai?
And the producer, Gabby, with 2 B's, said you would mess up my name because I mess up my name half the time.
Well, she has written down Coli. Now, am I supposed to get Kalai?
Kalai.
Yeah, see? I can't get Kalai out of that.
Kalai Ilunaloa. I'm Hawaiian.
Okay, you're Hawaiian.
Yeah, a little weird.
Should have spelled it with 2 E's on the board.
Kalai. Yeah, all right, we got you, Kalai.
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me about your friends with Pete Rose.
Well, I played baseball against Mikey Miss, and the last time I talked to Mikey, sir, hello?
Yes, we got you.
Yeah, last time I talked to you, you will not remember this, is when you were doing a show with Dutch Dalton.
Yes.
And I was at the game where the Mets overtook the vet.
Oh.
And beat up all of our chairs with the handouts, which were little tiny baseball bats, and started taking the seats off and throwing them.
Oh, I do remember.
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, yep.
Yeah. So, but I respect you as a baseball player.
Thank you,
former baseball
player.
Thank
you, I appreciate it.
But, no, I did not know Pete as a child.
Oh, okay.
I was a Mike Schmidt fan. And as I became a better baseball player, I realized I'm never going to be that guy. And then the Phillies Pete came over, and I'm like, oh, that guy, he's 5'0". Well, turns out he's 5'11".
Yeah.
But I respected how he played the game, and that he knew that he was undersized and not good enough. That helped me.
So wait a minute. Did you said you played against him as a kid?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I played against you when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. You played against me. Oh, all right.
The board says you were friends with Pete Rose.
The board says you were friends with Pete Rose as a kid, so that's why I was coming from that premise.
No. I was a kid, and I loved him.
Okay.
Because I thought I could.
Wait, but hold on. I got a question for you. So you played against a young Mikey Miss?
I did.
How was he?
But I was younger.
How was Mikey Miss back in the day?
I was 14. You were throwing curveballs that I couldn't look at. And I'm like, you weren't. I didn't know who the hell you were then, but you were throwing some curveballs that were about to break my leg.
Yeah, I threw some curveball.
Was he playing barefoot because he couldn't afford cleats as a kid? I understand.
So let's get to the point of Pete Rose when I actually met him.
Go ahead, Kalai. Go ahead.
So I moved to L.A. and I'm playing music. I'm writing for television at Nickelodeon. And
Look at you, man. You're like a man of all seasons here.
Well, yeah.
All
but
right.
I'm also now working for the record company that signed me.
Oh, man.
And I got my brother, Scott King, for Christmas, not only just in Delaware, I'm living in L.A., he buys me 2 seats from the vet right before it gets torn down.
Uh-huh.
Mails them to my company, or the company that I'm working for in L.A., the 2 seats, because he knows how much that means, and I just cried. So they're sitting there every day, and this guy walks in, and I can't see his face because it's backlit, and he's like, "Hey, those are from the vet, aren't they?" It's Pete Rose.
Wow. Look at that.
Pete Rose is coming every Friday right next door to my office, or my, record company, and he spends 8 hours signing autographs.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kalai. He's an autograph that's how he made his living. He had a little storefront in Las Vegas.
And he would make money just signing tons of autographs.
3 days a week. He would go to Las Vegas and sign all that.
And people
in a lot of ways, that depleted his autograph price.
Yeah, when you have too many of them.
Yeah, I mean, there were the million Pete Rose bought baseballs out there. But Kalai.
That was interesting.
When I could have played against them.
You said you used to throw curveballs.
I had the curveball before a lot of kids my age had it.
Yeah, that's an advantage. He had an interesting story. Worked for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, man.
Music industry.
Writing for Nickelodeon. See, we do. Yeah, all we do is this. There's so many people out there they're smarter, and
Ray Dunn is one of them.
Ray Dunn is. Let me just get to this though with Ray Dunn. Ray Dunn posted a picture last night. It looked like he had pesto and gnocchis. Is that what you had?
That's true.
Yeah.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, I can't go with the green onion gnocchi.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I'm not a pesto man. So anyway, Ray has a half-eaten piece of bread.
Literally half-eaten.
No, it's ripped, by the way.
That was ripped. It looked like it was definitely
it was a ripped piece of bread.
Yeah.
That he probably ate the piece that he ripped off. He's going to take. It was a slice of bread, a slice. In the takeout thing with the gnocchi, and he's taking the bread. Now, that goes beyond all. Come on.
I am 100% Team Ray on this. He's bringing home the gnocchi anyway. There's bread on the table. It's going to get thrown away. Ray, correct me if I'm wrong. Your thought process was, I'm going to eat this later on tonight, and I want to have the bread with it when I heat it up.
Yeah, or later on today when I get home. But yeah.
First of all, why do you need the bread with gnocchi? It's already a lump of dough. You need bread to go along with that?
I could always go a little bread.
I didn't need the bread. The bread was given to me.
You usually go with a roll. There's a roll that you dinner roll. I get it. A ripped slice of bread.
I'm looking at it. It looks like a solid
piece of wheat bread.
No,
Is that what it was? What was
they
it?
made nice. I think that was actually whatever they make homemade there.
And he, just in defiance of me, he posts the photo.
Correct.
And tags you in it.
And tags me.
Yeah. Says, I will be taking this bread home.
What was the response that you got from most people, Ray?
From you, negative. From others, positive.
I said, would somebody please buy Ray a loaf of bread? But it came out load of bread. Because I got a fat finger and I hit the D instead of the F.
Load of bread. I said it was acceptable. And somebody commented underneath, whether or not it's acceptable, the bread is going to taste cold and stale once you put it in the fridge. And they asked Ray if he will be heating it up by toasting it.
Yes, I felt like that went without saying.
Oh, God. You're so desperate. I swear to God, I'm bringing in Wonder Bread. I'm going to bring in a loaf for you tomorrow.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports update.
Eagles Chiefs rematch. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports update. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain, the Eagles are headed to Kansas City for a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs week 2. That means the Eagles open up on Thursday Night Football with the Cowboys and followed up 10 days later with a trip to Kansas City. We now have 6 of the Eagles games on the schedule. It's reported they're going to play Thursday Night Football on October 9th against the Giants. So now 5 primetime games for the Birds. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas this morning, talked about how in demand this Eagles team is.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
Full NFL schedule comes out tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll keep you updated with any more scheduled leagues. The Phillies play a doubleheader today, weather permitting, with the Cardinals, with the first game at 1:05. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for that one. Game 2 at 6:15 with Aaron Nola on the mound. We found out the 76ers will pick third in the NBA draft earlier this week. Puts them in a position to potentially take one of the players from Rutgers. We will have Rutgers men's basketball coach Steve Peichel on later on the show at 1 o'clock to talk about those 2 players. This update is brought to you by AAA Car Care. Come to your local AAA Car Care center. Get $39.99 full synthetic oil change plus a free tire rotation. Restrictions apply. Offer ends May 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7 is the time. It's raining out there. We'll give you an update on the Philly. I guess they're going to try to play a doubleheader today. I don't know how that's going to be done, but it's General Knowledge Wednesday today. Our categories, General Knowledge, words pertaining to things. What's bigger? And for Bill, NHL hockey. The prize today, 2 tickets to see The Who. When is that concert?
Who?
Bernie announces. All right, it's The Who is Wells Fargo Center, North American Farewell Tour. This is the farewell tour.
This is it.
The Who, the song is over, it's called. August 21st, Thursday, August 21st. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. But we have a pair of tickets that we're giving away. That's a pretty good prize, man. To see The Who for the last time?
Yeah, take your opportunity.
One of the top 5 rock bands in the world, brother.
What's your favorite Who song?
We won't get fooled again. No.
Sounds exactly like them, dude.
In any event, it goes in order, the bigness of the band. Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Who, U2.
Interesting. So you got them up there, man.
Well, I mean, come on. You're talking about the legendary rock bands. They're the biggest name rock bands ever.
They are. No,
Wait, but you're going to throw somebody else in there? Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Who, U2. None bigger.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You're going to throw Pink Floyd in there? You like your Pink Floyd.
I do, but I wouldn't put them in the top 5. I do like Pink Floyd. By the way, we do have a lineup for today.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. For
our 1 o'clock game?
Which I'm not sure if it's going to get played or not.
Uh-huh.
No JT in this one. So
no JT.
He'll probably play tonight.
Tom McCarthy will have to say, JT not in the lineup today.
Yeah.
JT, a day of rest.
Now, does he call him Raphael or does he call him Marchand?
He calls him Marchand.
Marchand.
Yeah,
Marchand.
calls him Marchand.
Yeah. Raphael's a good name. Anyway, you got Stott back in the leadoff spot, Turner batting second, Harper batting third, Schwarber DHing in the cleanup, Casty in right field batting fifth, Max Kepler out in left, Alec Boehm at third, Brandon Marsh in center field.
There you go, Marsh back in the lineup.
And
no more 23 belt.
Now you got Rafael Marchand behind the plate, which is interesting because he's catching Luzardo, which then opens up the door tonight for.
Well, JT's got to play tonight.
Well, which means he catches Nola. Because Nola, half of his starts, it's been Marchand behind the plate.
Yeah.
And there's a correlation between Nola's bad starts. JT hasn't been back there. So maybe this gives him an opportunity.
All right. Before we get back to the phones and the Pete Rose conversation, I want to play the soundbite from Nick Nurse, who kind of, I don't know. You tell me what you make of this soundbite. Nick Nurse was on with one of our weekend colleagues, Mike Gill, who has a show in Atlantic City, and he made a statement about Joel Embiid here about how things fell apart for the Sixers.
I don't know the exact, pinpoint of when it was, but the rough general, the trade deadline comes and goes, and we make another little run to get some guys back healthy, and we just started losing more guys, and Joel didn't. Decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year, and Tyrese got hurt. At that point, you were kind of like, "This is not our year."
Joel decides he's not going to play the rest of the year, and he paused before that because he couldn't find a way to say it. You didn't pick that up on that?
Yeah,
he was about to go full bore into it. He thought about it, and then he says, "Joel decides not to play for the rest of the year." Now, what does that mean to you?
To me, it's Joel Embiid, whether it was his decision, whether it was the doctors giving him options, did not feel that the knee was at 100% and didn't feel that he could be as effective.
Did you feel that the Sixers would have played him?
And I don't have the exact quotes from throughout the season, but it did sound as if the Sixers wanted him to play through it. Like, I do remember Nurse saying some things and Morey saying some things which led you to believe they wanted Joel to play through it.
See why I can't trust them now?
Oh, I completely understand the non-trust. But when you give him the contract you gave him before the season, And when Morey has backed it up with the things that he said, I'm saying we have no other option than to hope Joel comes back to be able to play, because I don't see them trading him. I don't see any team giving you anything of value. So I think that, like, I'm not expecting it. Like, people were telling me, wake up.
Okay, what is your realistic belief that can happen, what you just said?
If I'm putting a percentage on it, I'm saying 25% chance.
Well, 25% chance. That's low.
Yes. I think it's more likely we never see the dominant Joel again. But there's
seen the best of him.
Yes.
But there's a chance, you're saying.
There's a chance.
There's no chance. Let's go back to the phones. And you can climb in at General Knowledge Wednesday at 610-632-0975 with Who tickets at stake. Ish in Levittown's checking in. What's up, Ish?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm okay. Just passing out flyers. I just want to say real quick, I passed all my classes for the spring, for the fall course. So
Good for you, man. Awesome.
Congratulations, Ish.
Thank you.
Now, you passed. What does that mean? You got C's or you got A's and B's?
I got Q, I got a B, an A, and 2 C's.
All right. That works.
Yeah, I got to take summer courses, so I'm back in the saddle in a couple
I got
weeks.
you.
But anyway, I want to talk about the Pete Rose conversation. Like, I agree with you. I don't think you can put him in a Hall of Fame. And plus, the Hall very selective on who they choose. Derek Jeter came up short of having a 100% vote, and I don't even think he's going to be put in the Hall of Fame. So, the integrity of the game, and the baseball writers, they're really strict on that. And with the whole Joel Embiid situation, the Sixers really don't pique my interest at this point. I'm glad we got the number 3 pick, but life goes on at this point. I really don't care about them right now. So, but that's my opinion on it.
All right, Ish. So you don't believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame? This is the first call who went the other way on this.
It is.
Yeah, I don't believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just based off of what he did, him betting on his own team, and then. His numbers deserve to be, but I don't think him as a person deserves to be.
Okay, well, again, you get in the touchy ground when you started evaluating him as a person and keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. To me, the rationale for people to keep him out of the Hall of Fame, and if I was a voter, I would vote him in. I'll tell you right now, if I was a voter, I would vote him in. But I know there are voters that go, no, that was such a taint that I can't vote him in.
Coach Schilling's not even in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds.
No, Schilling's not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, they held all that stuff against that political stuff against Schilling.
Yeah, I do want a general knowledge question, but is Ray there today? I don't know.
Ray is here. Ray's here. He's being quiet, but Ray's here. Ray brought back a slice of bread from last night's dinner.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. He liked his bread soggy, so I think he left it out in the rain so he can eat it and meow on it a little bit. Scorch a little bit on it. Is that right, Wayman?
He called him Wayman. Wayman.
Can I get a general knowledge question?
Yeah, you got one. All right, here we go. This is words pertaining to things. Like, for instance, if I gave you the word solar, that pertains to sun, right? So if I give you the word paternal, what does that pertain to?
Paternally?
Paternal. It pertains to what?
Paternal. When a woman goes out, is that eternal for when they get pregnant?
Paternity test. Think paternity test.
No, man, no. You're out. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Oh, no.
Ish didn't get it.
How did Ish not get it? No.
Paternal pertains to father.
Yes.
A day is
don't get confused by this category and make it too complicated for you. Paternal pertains to father, like solar pertains to sun. See what we're doing there?
In the case of baby Michael, you are not the father.
There you go.
The paternity test became famous because of Maury Povich.
All right, Ray. If I give you the word stellar, that pertains to what?
Stellar. Stars?
That's correct, Ray. See? You were making it too complicated. But Ray cashes in and has a commanding 3-1 lead over the audience right now.
Thanks, Ish.
And,
Bill, it's time for Bill.
It's not 3-1.
It's 3-1.
It's 4-1. You got to give me credit for my Temu Solani.
No. You have your own separate category.
Oh, okay. All right, because
yeah, if you would have listened early in the show, you would have told me that you're going against the audience also.
Well, Billy Blue Line has got a little bit of breaking news after the break.
Really?
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Blue Line needs this question. We'll get that after the break also.
And some big hockey news.
Hockey news? Did the Flyers hire a coach?
Got to stay here for it.
Uh-oh. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Philadelphia's Union Soccer.
Mike Missanelli Show. All right, the Pete Rose topic. We got a lot of action on this a little earlier. He's off the restricted list, which means the Hall of Fame now can put him on the ballot. And I'm curious to know whether the voters would vote him in. Just because he's on the ballot, it's not a foregone conclusion. As an old friend said to me once, there's many a slip from cup to lip. So, it's going to take a while before it actually comes to fruition. But what will the voters do? Now, Jason Stark will be on a little later at the afternoon show, and I guess he'll say the way he votes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a voter.
He wrote an article. I read an interesting article about him, too. But Billy Blue Line's got a little breaking news, Mike.
Billy Blue Line has some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not something that I would have endorsed. But go ahead, Bill.
So according to hockey insider Frank Saravalli, this is 8 minutes ago, sources say the Flyers are closing in on hiring Rick Tocchet as their next head coach. Although not official yet and still steps to go in the process, it's definitely trending as if it will get done in short order. So it's looking like Rick Tocchet will be the next coach.
What do you want me to say here? What do you want me to say? Because we're obviously, now this is uncomfortable. We're going to probably have him on. We are the flagship station for the Philadelphia Flyers, so I assume we'll have Rick on when he gets the job. I would not have done this. I'm telling you right now, I would not have done this. To me, it reeks of the same old, same old.
See, and this is where we disagree on Tocchet. Now, he would not have necessarily been my top choice. I would have liked to have seen them go a little outside the box, maybe go to the college ranks again. I know it didn't work out with Hackstall a few years ago, but maybe go to the college ranks. But I don't look at Rick Tocchet as just the same old. I know he played here. I know he played with Keith Jones. I know he played with Danny Briere in another town. But when you look at his coaching career, he's been all over the place. This is not just a Flyers retread. He was the head coach of the Lightning, the head coach of the Coyotes, the head coach of the Canucks.
What is his brand?
What is his brand?
Yeah, what is his brand? Well, he's got a Flyer brand.
It's going to be a very similar, build the culture type of mentality.
He's a Flyer. He's an ex-Flyer.
He is.
I don't care that he coached elsewhere. He's got the Flyer blood.
He was an assistant coach with Pittsburgh. He won a couple cups there.
Doesn't matter. Flyer blood. They brought back an old Flyer.
But you're talking about a guy, Mike, who has coached over 600 games in the NHL.
And has it been a sterling record?
He has not. He's a little over 500. Okay. His career record is 286 and 265.
Right, so tell me why this is a good hire.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily have gone this route. So
yeah, I don't want to. You've said that many times, and now all of a sudden you're okay with it.
I don't think it was the best hire. However, it is telling that the Flyers weren't the only ones.
You're homina in there right
now. Listen,
homina.
What I'm saying is it is telling that the Flyers weren't the only ones trying to hire him. Apparently, Boston wanted him. Apparently, the Seattle Kraken wanted him. So the fact that the Flyers got a guy that was very coveted.
They recycle coaches in the NHL constantly. There's never any innovation in this league.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of playoff success.
And there's never any innovation in this organization, and that's been my problem with it. Flyer fans, come on now. I want to hear what you have to say about this. You want to go down the same old road? We were supposed to break that road down.
It looks like it's now being shared around Twitter as official that Rick Tocchet will be the next head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers.
All right.
Mikey Miss is not happy.
610. Listen.
Can't wait to have him on the show tomorrow.
I like the guy.
Can't wait to have him on the show.
I like the guy. I've had many conversations with the guy. I like the guy. But if I'm talking about the overall health of the franchise, I think they could have gone in a different direction, a more innovative direction.
I don't disagree with you there. I don't think it's a terrible hire, but they could have gone in a different direction. But time will tell if it works out.
All right. 610-632-0975. It is time for your hockey question. Who has the record, the single season record for goals as a right wing?
Ooh. Brett Hull.
That is correct. Oh, my God.
Billy Blue Line, baby.
Oh, my God. What is going on here, Ray?
This is hockey. I think that's what we got.
Billy Blue Line. I thought I was going to be able to stump you today.
So far, so good.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. We got Chuck in New York. Chuck, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Chuck.
Good morning, gents.
Hello, Chuck.
There's been so many different conversations since I first called in to talk about Pete Rose. I remember getting Pete Rose's autograph at a Kmart in Coral Springs, Florida, way back in the day.
Wow, Kmart. That's going way back.
He would go anywhere. He would go anywhere.
And you know what? Like, my father passed away a couple years ago, and I was going through stuff that he had saved, and I have that on my desk right now, that random Pete Rose at a Kmart. But I do think, listen, and this is a saying that I love in so many different ways. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The man's numbers speak for themselves. I think he's deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. I think, if what he says or said, rather, is true as far as only betting on his team to win, which is, questionable at that. I think there's, and where my mind really goes is, there's one very prominent former NBA player that we all know has a very, very extensive gambling habit that might have even kept him out of the year for a league. Kept him out of the league for a year.
Are you talking about Michael Jordan?
And it's like, yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, do we think that guy's competitive drive, that he never bet on the Bulls to win?
Is there any evidence that he bet on the Bulls to win? Because of Pete Rose, there was evidence.
No, but of course. But I'm just saying, if you take a man's competitive drive like that and a gambling addiction, I would, if you had a gun to my head, I'd say Michael Jordan definitely bet on the Bulls to win. At some point.
But that would only be a theory. This was proven.
Mm-hmm.
This was proven,
I totally,
Chuck.
I get it, but I mean,
I don't think you do. You're comparing to Michael Jordan, a speculative gambling guy who would play cards and stuff. There was never any evidence that he would bet on games. Never.
No. There was never evidence, but I just think that man's gambling hobby, if you will.
Yeah, that's a dangerous speculation.
It's only speculation.
Yeah.
It's only speculation.
Yeah, but it's different because the other one's verified.
General knowledge. Hit me.
All right, here we go. The general knowledge category is this. General knowledge. What country has expressed interest in becoming the 6th Nordic country, joining Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland?
I thought it was related to words. This is a different.
No. This is a different category. We have 3 categories going on right
now. Greenland?
That's incorrect. Sorry, bro. No Greenland.
Ray can take a command.
Estonia.
Oh, that was a tough one.
Estonia. All right, Ray. Who said the Eagle has landed on July 20th, 1969? The Eagle has landed.
That's pretty good.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Lyndon B. Johnson. The Eagle has landed on the moon, Ray.
Yeah.
Who walked on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
That's correct. But you were not correct. So that opens it up. The audience does not stray far from Ray. 3-1. Billy Blue Line?
Are you giving me another one?
Is it your turn?
I guess so.
All right, Billy Blue Line. Who has the goals record for a defenseman for a single season at 48?
Ooh. Can you give me the year?
1985-86.
85-86, most goals in a season. I'm going to go back to the well and say Paul Caulfield.
Correct. Oh, he's undefeated with these hockey questions. It's unbelievable. He's got 3. He ties Ray. 610-632-0975. Coming up, the news at noon.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers closed down Rick Tocchet. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Flyers reportedly closed hiring former Vancouver Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet, according to Frank Saravalli. The former Flyer has had 3 stops as head coach with 2 playoff appearances in 9 seasons. We'll react to the news here on the Fanatic. Elsewhere tonight, the NFL will release its schedule. We already know 6 games for the Eagles this season. One of the big ones today, Jeff McClain reporting that the Eagles headed to Kansas City in Week 2 for a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas this morning and talked about how in demand this Eagles team is.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
We'll keep you updated with more scheduled leaks throughout the day. Philly's supposed to play a doubleheader today. We'll see with the rain. They're playing with the Cardinals. First game, 1:05. Jesus Luzardo on the mound. Game 2, 6:15 with Aaron Nola on the mound. We found out on Monday night, 76ers going to pick third in the NBA draft. Puts them in a position to take one of the Rutgers players, be it Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey. We'll have Rutgers head coach Steve Peichel on to join us to talk about those two guys coming up at 1 o'clock. This update's brought to you by Robert Half, their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI. We'll find you the skilled candidates you want at Robert Half. They know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Missanelli Show. All right, the news. First of all, let me just say I think that we might be having some phone problems because I know a lot of people are trying to call in. We'll straighten them out. We'll get your calls on General Knowledge Wednesday where the prize is tickets to the Who. So the news of the day that's just broken is that Rick Tocchet is going to be the head coach of the Flyers. He got a 5-year, $25 million deal.
In that range is what's being reported.
To be the head coach of the Flyers.
Yeah, not official yet on the terms, but Anthony Sanfilippo is saying it'll be in the range of 5 years, $25 million, which would make him one of the highest paid coaches in the NHL.
Okay, then. I mean, listen, I don't even know what to say. I really don't. And I like the guy a lot, and I've been in his company many times. He's like really good buddies with Chuck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I just... The where I disagree with you is I don't think this is here we go again hiring a former Flyer. I just don't look at Rick Tocchet as only a former Flyer.
Okay, let's look at it as they're hiring a very successful coach.
Very successful depends on what your definition is. He hasn't had a lot of playoffs.
No, he has not been very successful.
He has not had a lot of playoff success.
Right.
He did win the Jack Adams last season, 2 years ago, as the coach of the league. I know he's big on building the culture, and he's supposed to be a player guy and a player's coach, which I think they didn't have under John Tortorella. So I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily love it either. I'm not going to be standing up on the table saying this was the greatest thing they could have done, but I don't think it's a disastrous hire either.
All right. Then we got the Pete Rose issue. He's been taken off the restricted list. A lot of people have opinions on whether he belongs in the Hall of Fame or not. It's actually probably 4 to 1 people that believe he should be in rather than somebody who doesn't believe he should be in. I don't care one way or the other. And like I said, if I had a vote, I'd probably vote him in. But he did break a very sacred rule in baseball, and that's why he's been kept off the ballot and kept off out of baseball for all this time.
The problem
is you just reverse the field and go, oh, everything's okay now because he's dead.
Yeah, the problem probably is he didn't have an interpreter to place his bets for him.
What?
It's a Shohei Ohtani joke.
Oh, okay, because I was taking it literally. He did have somebody running his bets for him.
Yeah, I mean, that whole Ohtani thing was a mess, but at first blush, I'm thinking, oh, man, is Ohtani gambling?
He had a muscle guy do all his betting for him, like you. Yeah, like a gym guy, muscle man.
That was who was placing his bets?
Yeah. Do you remember the scandal? I reported on this scandal.
Vaguely, I remember it.
Yeah, I forget what the guy's name was. Ron Peters? Something like that. Now, Ron Peters was one of the guys. There was a musclehead who was also involved in this. I forget his name.
I'm looking it up.
Got him? Maybe an Italian guy. What was his name?
Tommy Giosa.
Yeah, Tommy Giosa.
Was the primary intermediary.
He was a muscle man. He would eat Kind bars and protein shakes.
Speaking of which, it is 12 o'clock.
It is 12, and you're listening to Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington and Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station. And we're broadcasting currently from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. You got a Kind bar in front of you?
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock.
Can you break off a piece of that for me?
I can't.
That's one of those protein things.
I can't break off a piece because I need the whole thing. You know? I need the
whole thing.
All the calories and protein that are provided in the whole thing. If I break it off, now I've thrown off my whole eating for the day.
You're a weirdo, man.
I'm slightly
kidding. 12 o'clock. It's time for a little something we call the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And, of course, the news at noon is brought to you by Ray Dunn. Ray, what do we have today?
All right, we've got plenty of NFL schedule news coming out. Yesterday on Good Morning America, they released the Monday Night Football game between the Eagles and Packers. And as part of that reveal, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman stopping by Good Morning America. And apparently, week 1, the Eagles-Cowboys game is the beginning of the Cowboys' run to the Super Bowl, according to one Troy Aikman.
We got 10 seconds left. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? this year?
I'm going to say Buffalo finally wins it.
Ooh.
Cowboys.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on, Stray.
That's over there right now.
You know better than that.
See, we were just lauding him.
Yes, we
for
were.
being objective. And all of a sudden, he yucks it up on a morning TV show and goes Cowboys? That's fraudulent.
I didn't see the clip, Ray. Is it like tongue-in-cheek, though? Is like he's joking, or is he trying to be a Cowboys guy?
I mean, he's trying to pander.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a
it's
show
pandering.
we call out pandering where we see it, and I see him pandering there.
Yeah, he pandered to Robin Roberts.
Yeah, we did. We just talked about how Aikman puts that aside.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not going to happen, Troy boy. Sorry.
Starts week 1.
All right. Next.
Cowboys week. All right. Your friends are trading jabs at each other, Mike.
I know. I saw this story, and it's very interesting because, Charles is going to fight back somewhere along the line, but go ahead.
Well, to be fair, this is Stephen A. fighting back at Charles.
Yeah, I know, and then he's going to counter.
Yeah, these two, at this point, Charles says he doesn't want to do more TV. He's going to be on First Take by the end of the fall. Like, I just see it happening already. They're going to have the two of them going back and forth at one another. Charles Barkley said that Stephen A. is overexposing himself with all these different things that he's doing, political commentary, sports commentary, acting. Stephen A. did not like that.
First order of business, just a heads up. Anything that I say that is critical of Charles Barkley is all in fun. That is my friend. That is my brother. I love him dearly. But that doesn't mean I always agree with him. And it doesn't mean that I'm devoid of the right to call him a flaming hypocrite when it's called upon. Do y'all have any idea how many commercials Charles Barkley does a year? He'll tell us 2. Have you seen Charles Barkley in 2 commercials? Are you kidding me? Oh, by the way, the cat that you work with at least twice a week during the NBA season is Shaquille O'Neal. Can we count the amount of endorsements he has? How often he's seen everywhere? What new product he's pitching? Did you say that about him? No, you didn't. But when it comes to me, I need to be careful.
Yeah, well, he's, as Bill would say, he's not wrong about that. Charles does more than 2 commercials, doesn't he?
I think I see him everywhere.
He seems to be everywhere. You're right.
I don't know how many commercials he does. I will say he's gone on this podcast tour after saying that he's been very careful about the number of appearances he makes. I kind of give a point to Stephen A. there.
Yeah, we used to have exclusivity on Charles. We no longer do. We're sharing with the world now.
He's everywhere.
He is. He's totally everywhere. But I think Stephen A's got a point. Stephen A is overexposed. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, my God, he's all over the place. But
he's on soap operas now.
Like Chuck a little jelly. Sounds like Chuck's a little jelly, don't you think, Ray?
Oh.
I don't know if he's jealous.
I think he's a little jelly.
I don't know. I don't think...
Here's the thing. Charles doesn't want to work. So Charles will go, damn, all these other people want to work, and they're making all these things, but I got to find a way to pull them back down because I don't want to work. That's what Charles is about.
If I was Charles Barkley, I would not be jealous of Stephen A. Smith.
I think he's a little jelly because guys are taking advantage and making colossal money for going here, there, everywhere, doing this, doing that, and he doesn't want to. So he's going to try to pull him back down. I think that's Chuck.
All right. Fair enough. Well, speaking of media, we have a big announcement in the media world. We have a podcast that's returning.
We do?
Ladies and gentlemen, fear not. After a little hiatus, Podcast P will return.
Podcast DMP coming back.
Here it is. Paul George explaining why he's bringing back Podcast P.
I'm not a person that run away from anything. You know what I mean? Like, my dad kind of instilled that you face your problems and you move on from it. It's there and it's gone. And the reason I took the hiatus was more so I wanted to get my body healthy. I wasn't mentally there in a time of where we were at, the team, me dealing with injuries. I wasn't in a space of being jolly and happy. And, obviously we had topics and guests to talk with, but it wasn't much for me to talk about just because of where I was at. So now it's obviously the summer, my downtime. I'm training, focusing on my body. I did procedures to get ready for this next season and kind of just want to touch back with my fan base. It was important for us to kind of start this back up, to just give back to the people, man. That's what I always inspire to do, is kind of give back to the people.
Giving back to the people. You actually think that's what you're doing? This isn't a narcissistic thing to have your podcast so you can hang out with people. You do all this for the people. Horse feathers. Come on now. And you play like a mutt last year. So what this is supposed to be better? Now you're really determined. So you're going back to the podcast? This guy. 610-632-0975. Let's take a break. We'll come back after this.
We want to hear from you. So text us at
We had a little hang up with the phones, but I believe they're going to be straightened out, so don't be afraid to give us a ring. We got a couple of really interesting topics on the board. The Pete Rose topic, the Joel Embiid topic. At 1 o'clock, we have Steve Peichel, the head coach of Rutgers basketball, who coached both Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. last year. One of those gentlemen will be a Sixers draft pick. If they keep the pick, I think they would go for Ace Bailey before they go for Edgecombe. But we'll find out. The scouting report from Steve Peichel, who had two of the top high school recruits in the country, and actually didn't do that much with them. They were 15 and 17 last year, 11th in the Big Ten with an 8-12 record. Did not play in the tournament, Bill, and I know you were concerned about that.
It just gives me room to pause. Like when you have, if you're talking about two of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft, how they didn't have more success at the college level. And I get it. He's 18, Ace Bailey, and Harper's, 19? And you gave me a long list of players yesterday that didn't have college success that went on to have great NBA careers. And I understand that. But when you got 2 of the top 3, you would have expected them to do a little bit more than they did. So I want to hear from him. I'm sure he's going to say it wasn't them, but...
You blaming the coach?
Oh. You're going to ask him that. No, they didn't have a lot of talent.
I got to ask him that question. I mean,
you have to.
Obviously.
I mean, and listen, and I know things are different now with NIL money. Kids stay in college a little bit longer. You're dealing with older players, and these guys were young. But it just goes to Ace Bailey probably not ready to step in as a rookie and contribute to this team if you're expecting to win something in 2026.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. The 12 o'clock hour brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. And you can learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. We also have a pretty good Fanatic Deal of the Week this week.
Yeah, we do.
Fanatic Deal of the Week. Get four Trenton Thunder baseball tickets for just $30. That's half off. That's pretty good. Minor League Baseball is fun. Tickets are valid for any regular season Trenton Thunder home game during the 2025 season. You can get this offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/details. And, of course, we're playing today, General Knowledge Wednesday. Anybody who gets a question correctly today qualifies for a pair of tickets to see The Who. The Song is Over, their North American farewell tour. That'll be at the Wells Fargo Center on August 21st, Thursday. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Via Ticketmaster.com. One pair you'll get. The Who, do they still get crazy, you think? Like Roger Daltrey still throwing the microphone around and Peter Townsend with the big wind-up strumming?
I mean, Roger's 81, dude.
Is he
I
really?
can't imagine. Yeah. He's 81.
81?
Townsend's 79. I mean, this is the farewell tour. it better be.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to bury him on the stage.
81.
Wells Fargo stage.
79.
Oh, my God. 81? I bet you Roger, just like Mick Jagger, who still does a little funkin'.
Yeah.
I bet you my man slings that microphone around.
Well, Jagger's 81.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean. These guys kept themselves in rock shape.
It's crazy, though, because you would think when they're on tour, when they were young, all the fun that they probably had and the stuff that they did, that they're still going strong at 80. Yeah, I said this the other day. Ozzy Osbourne's still somehow alive. Maybe that was the key.
I was a big Who fan. I had every album.
You were a big fan of The Who?
Oh, yeah, I was a big fan of The Who. I thought they were brilliant.
So I think I only...
Tommy's brilliant. The rock opera, who was doing that back? Think about that for a second. They did that. They did a rock opera back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
And they did another one called Quadrophenia. It's kind of similar. They're brilliant writers.
Well, Pink Floyd, similar. Like The Wall was a whole story.
Pink Floyd is kind of like in a different realm, though. They're more of a dreamy, drug-induced haze world.
Yeah.
The Who was more natural.
Did you liked Pinball Wizard then?
No.
That's like
I didn't know.
You didn't like the popular songs. You were the guy who was like, I like the songs that didn't get released as singles.
No. The Who had a tremendous library before you get to the Pinball Wizards of the world. Well, that was in the rock opera Tommy, but
yeah,
they had Won't Get Fooled Again and Baba O'Reilly, and they had some great songs. The album was Who's Next, where they were peeing on a concrete wall.
Wait, do they sing No One Knows What It's Like?
Yes, to be the bad man. To be the sad man
behind blue eyes.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's the Who.
that is the Who.
Right there.
That's a good jam.
Sure. Right, you heard of the Who?
I have. If you want me to give you an illustrious history of the Who,
Yeah.
you're going to be really, really
No?
mistaken
You
on
have
that
no
one.
illustrious history?
No. Nothing against them.
Okay.
I've heard of them. I'm sure if my parents listen, they're going to be like, you've heard this song, this song while you've been sitting in the car, and I'm sure I have.
Well, the Who, can you name the Who? Can you name the 4 members of the Who, Bill?
Well, you just named 2 of them.
Name 2 of them, yeah.
One of them's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know their names.
John Atwhistle was the bass player.
And he passed,
I
right?
think he, but it passed along. Keith Moon was the crazy drummer who was the first one to go.
Gotcha. And then the other 2 are still going strong at 80.
Yes, they are. So I don't even know who plays bass or drums for him.
By the way, Ray just mentioned his mom. Ray is a good son.
He is
You know,
good.
last night when you saw that picture of the Inyuki,
Oh, he was out with the
his mother, his grandmother,
paternal units.
he was out with all the maternal.
Paternal units.
Not the Duns.
Were you in the city last night, right?
No, I went home.
Oh, you went.
I was home.
Oh, so there's an Italian restaurant out there, actually, where all the Medigans live.
It was actually a pizza spot that's
Oh,
across from where my grandmother
Wait,
lives.
you ordered gnocchis at a pizza spot?
It's good. It
Oh
was
no,
good.
no.
It was good.
Oh no, Bill. Bill,
Violation?
what? No, pesto gnocchis at a pizza joint.
It was good.
Ray,
I'll stand by it. It
Ray,
was very good.
Please.
Listen,
Wait, now I would probably say Ray doesn't know what he's talking about, but his mother is Italian. So it's probably a good spot. Right?
Italian grandmother as well.
Yeah,
So,
and they went and they were okay with it. Wait, who else was there? There was a 4th.
my sister.
Ray, with all the, not the Dunn women, because there's a different name for your grandmother. It's your mom's mom, right?
First of all, let me just say this: Ray took home like 4 gnocchis. There was like 4 left over. Like,
Listen.
what's the line of demarcation for leaving the gnocchis?
Okay, for you, there's got to be probably half a bowl. For Ray, who we know is pinching pennies,
I
if
eat
there
2
were
meals
2
a day.
gnocchis left, he should take it
Come
home.
on, man. There's 4 gnocchis left. You took it home?
I just debated buying that bag of chips you saw me with. What do you mean you took the 2 gnocchis home? Of course I took the gnocchis home.
Yeah, I saw Ray walk into the kitchen. I go, what's going on? He goes, I'm so hungry, I'm going to have to buy something to eat. He came out with a bag of chips.
He took home 4 gnocchis and a half-eaten slice of bread.
Listen.
Come on, man. Buy the kid some food, Bill.
Ray
Bring
is-
it in.
He's grinding right now.
Let's bring in a bag of food for him.
I respect it, Ray. I respect the hustle, man.
610-632-0975. I respect the hustle. Hopefully you break through on the telephone lines on the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers closing on Rick Tocchet. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Flyers reportedly close to hiring former Vancouver Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet, according to Frank Saravalli. The former Flyer has had 3 stops as a head coach with 2 playoff appearances in 9 seasons. There are reported terms out there in the 5-year, $25 billion range for him to become the next head coach of the Flyers. We'll continue to react to the news here on The Fanatic. Tonight, the NFL will release its schedule. We already know 6 of the Eagles' games. The big news today was the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain reporting the Eagles are headed to Kansas City to face the Chiefs in Week 2 of the NFL season. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas this morning talking about how high demand there is for the Birds on national television.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
We'll keep you updated with more schedule leaks throughout the day, and of course, tonight you get the full NFL schedule. The Phillies play a doubleheader today, allegedly. Depends on the weather. Cardinals with the first game 105. Jesus Lazard on the mound for the first game. Aaron Nola on the mound at 6:15 for that second game. And we found out the 76ers will pick 3rd in the NBA draft, putting them in position to potentially select Rutgers' Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper if he falls. We will talk to Rutgers head coach Steve Peichel coming up at 1 o'clock about those 2 prospects. I'm Ray Dunn on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ricky
Fanatic. All right, the lines have cleared up and they're open. So test them. 610-632-0975. You got something to say about Pete Rose? Released off the restricted list. That means the commissioner is taking one for the team and saying, yeah, see, now my legacy is I did it. I waited for him to die, pass away, so he can't embarrass us anymore. Now he's off the restricted list. Now it's up to y'all. And that means the voters. Because now the Hall of Fame has to put him on the ballot. And now the voters have to vote him in. And the question is, will they vote him in? In good conscience, will they vote him in when in good conscience they don't vote in the Barry Bondses and Roger Clemens of the world?
Yeah, when is the next Baseball Hall of Fame vote?
I do not know, but I'm sure we'll find out from Jason Stark a little later today. In fact, I'll text him right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because they vote. It's not every year that they vote, right? Isn't it every 4 years or something?
The ballot, no.
Is it every year?
And the ballots, we usually get them. That's usually good, holiday time fodder of this person released their ballot. This is who they voted for. So
wait, so they vote.
that.
They vote every year, and there's no waiting period then for Pete Rose, right? He would be immediately eligible.
I believe he becomes eligible.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I think this is correct. He has to be voted. All right, now this changes the whole landscape. He's past the time that the regular voters can vote for him. He's been 15 years have gone by, so he now has to be voted in by a special committee.
Even though he technically wasn't eligible.
I believe that's the case. I believe that 15 years go by, so he has to be voted in by a certain committee. It's not the Veterans Committee, but it's another committee.
Yeah. Also, we got to find out what's going on because there's been 5 calls that just came in, and then every one of them.
We're on the blink again. So I don't know what to say. This is ridiculous.
All right. Well,
it unnerves me, Bill.
I know that we had a ton of people weighing in on the text board on the Pete Rose conversation. Any good text?
Yeah, we haven't gone to the text board today, so let's try to go to the text board. Right? What do we have on the text board?
We got a texter here from New Jersey. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall without a doubt. Now, if I recall, he said he never bet on the Reds to lose, if that makes any difference.
It does not. And we kind of touched on this, and Mike made the good point of, all right, he's the manager. He bet on his team to win today's game. Do you think maybe he manages a little bit differently? Maybe he uses his bullpen a little bit differently because he needs to win today's game? It can affect how you manage the game.
Say it's irrelevant whether he bet against his team.
Well, no, and
bet on his own team. What does that mean? You're trying to win a game, so you're still cheating your own players.
And my thoughts on it is, if you are enough of a degenerate gambler that you're willing to bet on your own team, there could come a time where you're on a big-time losing streak where maybe you become so desperate that you do the other way. I don't think that if you're that much of a degenerate, there's going to be a time where you may do something stupid. There's a reason why we have 1-800-GAMBLER.
Exactly. So again, when you cheat the integrity of the game and you break a rule that is posted in big letters, block letters. I don't know if you've ever been in a baseball clubhouse, Bill, but it's prevalent.
And I agree with everything about the gambling. He should have been punished for it and all that. I just think now, with Major League Baseball making the decision to take him off the restricted list, I believe the voters should vote simply on what he did as a baseball player, and he deserves to be in. You said it earlier, I'm with you. If I was a voter, I'm voting him in because I don't think once the commissioner says, hey, he's off the restricted list, that you should still hold it against him that he gambled. It doesn't change the fact that he has all these records. Doesn't change the fact that he was a 17-time All-Star.
All right, so you're drawing the line here. First of all, you do believe that Bonds and Clemens should be in, right?
I agree.
You believe
Bonds should be in, Clemens should be in, A-Rod should be in, all of them.
All right, so now let me ask you, as a voter, do you put in the equation, in your thought process equation, that those numbers may have been influenced by the strength that came from steroids?
I know deep down, we all know that those numbers were probably influenced. Like Barry Bonds, like I said, great player, takes HGH or steroids, he becomes a superhuman player. But I don't think that we, as voters, if I was a voter, should consider that because we don't know for a fact. I know we all assume it, but you don't know what you don't know. Like, you don't know that he 100% was on steroids and he was facing a pitcher who wasn't on steroids. It was the steroid era.
What do your instincts tell you?
My instincts tell me that, yes, Barry Bonds was on steroids,
so
and it certainly inflated his numbers.
All right, so if your instincts tell you that, then you're voting against your conscience.
But I don't think that you should be able to vote based off of, well, I think he was on steroids.
Why not?
Because there was nothing, there's no hard evidence.
They kept it, but that doesn't mean that no hard evidence doesn't mean there was, really, people get convicted of a crime and there's not hard evidence. Like you assume some things that happen with a fact pattern.
I understand that, but when it comes to Barry Bonds, let's just use him as the example.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball never suspended him or
doesn't matter.
told him he couldn't play.
It doesn't matter what Major League Baseball did or didn't do. It matters how you want to vote. Like you can't put there was not proven. Oh, no, Major League Baseball didn't sanction him.
Yeah, but
you in your own instincts, in your own heart of hearts, you know that happened.
You do. But I think it's a dangerous road to go down because we don't know. You could go back and look at all these other sports and the Hall of Fame. And, was that guy on steroids? Wait, was that guy doing anything he shouldn't have been doing? Was he taking PEDs? Was he not taking PEDs? Well, what about who was he going up against? Were they also on PEDs so it leveled the playing field? To me, it's a slippery slope. I think you just got to look at the numbers and you say, Barry Bonds has the most home runs in Major League Baseball history. He's got the most single-season home runs. He's one of the greatest baseball players we've ever seen. Yeah, I think he was probably on steroids.
Well, here's where I'm drawing the line, though, because if I'm a voter, I go, yeah, I have to put that in the equation. And if I don't feel that they would have been as great a player that they turned out to be without the steroids, then I can, in good conscience, vote for him. The Pete Rose thing is different. Steroids didn't improve his performance. His performance was his performance. The taint of Pete Rose was that he did something heinous against the rules of baseball that prevented him from being considered for the Hall of Fame. The other guys are considered. They're considered every year. They're voted on every year. And they don't get the requisite amount of votes. The voters have said, no, they're not getting in because that influenced their performance. They don't have that thing for Pete Rose.
No, you're right. The gambling did not influence his performance as a player to have all this success, and the steroids definitely did.
So in a lot of ways, it's easier to vote for Pete Rose to go into the Hall of Fame if you can put the taint past you.
Correct. But I don't think that the voters should hold it against the guys who were in the steroid
I don't
era.
understand how you can't see that.
Because it was an era of baseball.
It's so clear what they did. They influenced their abilities with steroids. I don't know how you can ignore that, Bill.
I agree with you, but I just don't think that you can make all of these assumptions. Like, you don't know. Like, look.
You know. Stop it. You knew O.J. committed murder.
And he's still in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Because he was never convicted. Like, they can't now take O.J. out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame because we all think he did something.
But you know.
But you can't do it
but
based off of that.
Same as this. You know Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. You know.
You know, but you don't. You know, but we don't have hard evidence.
Stop it, Bill. You don't need hard evidence in a lot of situations.
Would you agree with me, though? Even if Barry Bonds didn't take steroids, he still would have been a Hall of Fame.
No, I don't believe that. I believe that his performance was so superhuman, it influenced his greatness. And I'm not one of these guys that, he should be a Hall of Famer without the steroid. No, I don't believe that.
Barry Bonds was good.
Obviously, was he a Hall of Famer? What made him a Hall of Famer? His superhuman powers to hit home runs.
Major League Baseball had no problem benefiting off it.
It doesn't matter what Major League Baseball had a problem with.
When McGuire and Sosa were on their chase, no problem.
Major League Baseball are not the people who vote them in. Individuals vote them in.
What I'm saying is Major League Baseball should have stopped it then if they had issues with it, and now they shouldn't be punished from getting into the Hall of Fame.
Major League Baseball doesn't have issues with it. The voters have issues with it. You keep thinking Major League Baseball's voting.
I know, but it's all together.
It's not all together. Every guy who votes has an individual conscience. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Our old pal Kerry from New Jersey is up next. We're back after this.
Wednesday, May 14th, the Phillies were rained out yesterday.
Right.
No, I don't
A
recall
couple
there
of
being
old
who in
school,
there.
like 90s, like a couple Incubus, they'll Coldplay. You know, freshen it up a little bit.
What Coldplay
It has
song?
to go through this process.
What Coldplay?
No, the intro to Yellow.
It's always a good one.
Clocks. You know?
Yeah.
We'll be hearing those soon.
Looking forward to it.
All right. 610-632-0975. Don't forget Steve Peichel, the head coach of Rutgers, who coached Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, with the scouting reports on both of those guys who will be in play for the 76ers. Let's go to Kerry in New Jersey. Kerry checking in. We haven't heard from Kerry in a long time. Hello, Kerry. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Well, that's because I could not get through for months.
I know, Kerry.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm thrilled to have gotten through. I think I've earned perhaps a little walk-up song.
What would be your walk-up song, Kerry? What would be your walk-up song? What's your favorite tune that we could play for you?
You know, Not Fade Away.
Okay. Please say it's not that.
Oh, no.
All right.
No. Please don't do that to me.
Okay.
So, Ray, take note.
All right, here it is, Ray. What is it? What is your walk-up song?
I said, Not Fade Away by the Grateful Dead.
Oh, Not Fade Away by the Grateful Dead? I don't know if
you know our love will not fade away. I will not fade away my love for 97.5 The Fanatic.
I see what you did there. That's nice. All right, we might be able to put that through.
Oh, that would be awesome, because I know Greg definitely earned his
Greg definitely did. And we know you're a deadhead, too.
I haven't heard from Greg today.
Kerry's a deadhead. So.
Yeah.
What is it with the South Jersey and the deadheads? Well, that's South Jersey deadheads.
I'm not a deadhead. I'm from South
I know you're not.
Well,
but
there's a lot of, there was a lot. So I think my theory is the New York and the Philly contingent is a lot of East Coast deadhead love.
All right. What you want to say about the Phils today, Kerry?
I don't know. I just said that. I'm just so excited to get through.
Oh, okay.
You just missed us.
All right.
But things are looking up.
Awesome.
I think that's what I think.
Fantastic.
What do you think about Rick
I
Tocchet maybe as the next coach of the Flyers? You got an opinion on that?
Who? No.
Who is
I
he?
have no Flyers knowledge.
All right, Kerry, would you like a general knowledge question? You're playing for general knowledge. You're playing for the Who. Do you like the Who?
Of course.
All right, so she's a Who fan.
I think my dad would have the same list as you: the Beatles, Stones, and then the Who.
Yeah. So Zeppelin would be the third. Who would be fourth?
Oh, sorry. Well,
Oh, that's all right.
I agree with that.
All right, Kerry. The question is, which is bigger? The heaviest human ever or the heaviest pumpkin ever? Which is bigger, Kerry?
Heaviest pumpkin.
The heaviest pumpkin is correct.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Human, 635 kilograms. Pumpkin, 1,190 kilograms.
1,000 pounds?
That's unbelievable.
Wait, 1,000 kilograms?
Yes. All right, Kerry, you're the second one from the audience. So hang on a second. We'll get you on hold there. How about that? I would have never thought in a million years. You watched that show on Lifetime or, no, what is it, A&E?
Oh, like My 700-Pound Life or whatever it is? But wait, 1,000-kilogram pumpkin is over 2,000 pounds.
That's incredible when you think about it.
Who the hell grew that?
I have no idea.
Genetically modified steroids. I think we have to take that out. I think that has to be taken out.
There it is. So we shouldn't qualify it.
Correct. That's not going to the Pumpkin Hall of Fame.
We don't know that it's genetically modified.
But we can assume.
Baseball may have accepted it.
We can assume. We looked at that pumpkin, and that pumpkin did not grow under normal circumstances.
Man. Make a jack-o'-lantern out of that baby. Huh?
Make a
You
jack-o'-lantern.
could live inside that thing.
You could make some pumpkin pie, pumpkin seeds.
You could live inside. A small, a little guy.
You a pumpkin pie guy? You like pumpkin?
Oh, big pumpkin pie guy.
You and Mel Kiper, apparently.
Is he a pumpkin? Yeah, he's a pumpkin man. Yeah, I like the pumpkin. I don't like the pumpkin raviolis, though. I don't get it. I don't get the pumpkin ravioli. Why? What's the point of the pumpkin
I'm with
ravioli?
you on that.
Why? With the sweet sauce. Like,
I'll go. Wait,
it's like ordering pesto and gnocchi.
Now, lobster ravioli, acceptable. I'll go lobster ravioli.
Yeah, I don't like lobster.
Big lobster ravioli.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's really good.
You a pesto man?
Not normally. No, I
don't get pesto.
I'll prefer the red sauce.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Now, you make your own raviolis, right?
Sometimes.
So, yeah. Whenever we're having raviolis, I always get told where they're from. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're P&S.
Oh, P&S, yeah. Yeah, that's
We're having P&S raviolis
P&S
tonight.
gnocchis, too. Yeah, P&S is a big brand. All right, let's go to, let's see. We got Vicente. Is Vicente checking in again? Vicente from Lansdowne on Pete Rose? Yes. Vicente, what's up?
Nothing much, Mike Miss. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, buddy.
Morning. Wet afternoon, actually. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever met you. You were broadcasting outside in, I think near the Wells Fargo. I got a ball signed by Pete Rose, and I kept it. You know, it's my most valuable souvenir and memorabilia.
Yeah, was that the day that Steve Fredericks had his mustache shaved off? We were on the steps of the Spectrum.
Yeah,
actually.
So, I just want to tell you that about Pete Rose. It's about time to put his eligibility in the Hall of Fame. Regarding the other cases, for Barry Bonds, Clement, A-Rod, and Mark McGwire, it doesn't alter anything. They're still no longer eligible, you know, because it's a different committee. You're talking about the Baseball Writers Association of America compared with the ERA committee, which is, you know, the Veterans Committee.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Veterans Committee that votes on Pete Rose. I think it's another committee. I'm trying to find out what exactly the committee would vote him in on.
Okay. But, you know, it's been over 15 years before, you know, the players in the major leagues will qualify. So,
yes.
Pete Rose, Joe Jackson, and Chicote, and the other one from the White Sox should be qualified. And it's up to the committee to elect them.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's a committee, I don't know. I don't know how to call this one because the voters are getting younger now that are covering baseball better than the old school. I wonder if the younger people are a little more progressive when it comes to the Pete Rose topic. And if it's the veteran committee, I'm sure that the veteran committee played with Pete and probably would vote him in.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't think Bonds, Clemens, and the other players will be qualified because it's a taste case, you know, because they were under the PED, the enhancing drug. So,
yeah, I got you. All right, Vicente, let's play a little general knowledge.
1 sec. Before you ask, I would like to also request a walk-up song.
What would you like to have as a walk-up song?
My favorite singer is James Taylor, and every time, you know, I talk to you and talk to my wife and with my daughter, I'm thinking is whenever I see your smiling face, I have to
Whenever
smile
I
myself.
see your smiling face, I have to smile myself.
I smile myself because I love you. Yes, I do.
All right.
And when you give me the pretty pout,
All right.
out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
We'll
yeah.
all right.
If you can ask Ray to look for a little snippet.
All right, we'll look
You
for a
know?
little snap. I thought you were going to go Sweet Baby James. Or I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
No.
All right, Vicente. Hold on. Here's your general knowledge question. Vicente.
Okay.
Vicente. Words pertaining to things. So if I say the word optic, what's that pertaining to? Optic.
To the eye.
That is correct, Mundo. Correct, Mundo. The eye, optic. And Vicente checks in. And the audience now is creeping. They have tied Ray. But Ray is owed 2 questions. And so is Bill. And we'll get to those after this on the Mike Missanelli Show.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers to hire Rick Tocchet. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. Flyers reportedly close to hiring former Vancouver Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet, according to Frank Saravalli. The former Flyer has had 3 stops as a head coach with 2 playoff appearances in 9 seasons. The reported details out there right now, 5 years, $25 million for a contract to make him the next head coach of the Flyers. Tonight, the NFL will release its schedule, and we already know 6 of the Eagles games. Big news today was the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain reporting the Eagles are headed to Kansas City to play the Chiefs in Week 2 action in a Super Bowl rematch, of course, from this past season. Of course, the Birds won the Super Bowl, and that has made them a team in high demand for national television. Adam Schefter talking to Kincade and Salciunas this morning about just that.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
We'll keep giving you schedule leaks as they come out. We found out on Monday night 76ers going to pick third in the NBA draft, but in the position to potentially select one of the players from Rutgers. We'll have Rutgers head coach Steve Pike coming up at 1 o'clock. This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. Get mattress sleep at night during Mattress Firm's upgrade your sleep sale. Take 120 nights to love your new bed or your money back. Restrictions apply. Also brought to you by New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Motorcyclists share the road with us, but they're harder to see. Look twice before changing lanes, approaching intersections, emerging in traffic. Message from New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
for the time being.
When does it switch to the Xfinity Mobile Center?
Leave September.
Wells is hanging in there, man, for the last few moments of accolade for Wells.
For the Wells. That never stuck, though.
General knowledge.
Oh, Ray gets 2 questions.
2, you get 2. You have 3.
It's
You're
a
tied with
3-3-3.
Ray. It's 3-3-3. Ray, what's bigger? The annual budget of the French government or the annual revenue of Google? Woo! That's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with the budget though. That's a European country. You know they're spending.
Go the budget of the French government or the annual revenue of Google?
Let's roll with capitalism here. The revenue of Google.
That would be incorrect, Ray. Sorry, your first instinct was the French budget is about 10 times as large as the annual revenue of Google. That tripped you up a little bit.
Yeah, I would have probably gone with Ray because it seemed like that wasn't the right answer. Right?
Yeah,
you
I
overthought
thought it. Yeah, I overthought it for
you
sure.
overthought it. All right, here it is. Words that pertain to other words. So if I say to you, nuptial, that pertains to
marriage?
That's correct. Ray has 4. He is inched ahead of the audience and Bill. But Bill, you got 2 hockey questions coming your way. Bill, who has the record for seasons played? 2 people have the record for season played. 26 seasons played. Give me to both of them.
Gordie Howe.
Gordie Howe is one of them.
Ray Bork.
Incorrect.
Oh, man.
But it is a defenseman.
Gordie Howe. I'm drawing a blank on
I think
this
he
one.
played here. I think he played here for a brief period. Not sure. Chris Chelios.
Oh, Chelios, of course.
Did he play here?
Did he ever play here? Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, I remember Hextall cross-checked him across the face back in the day.
I think he might have played here briefly, but I'm not really sure about it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now on 2 if Chelios ever played in Philadelphia.
All right. Well,
No, he never did.
Never did? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I remember with Chelios. Chelios, he rocked Brian Propp, and that caused that riot in that game, playoff game. So I covered it.
Yeah, when
Hextall ran him.
Hextall literally cross-checked him across the face.
Hextall ran him. You're listening to 97.5 Mike Missanelli Show on the Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, and we broadcast live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, so the Sixers.
Wait, were that both my questions? Do I get one point?
You get one more question. You get one more question.
Or I'll just take the point for Gordie.
No, you don't get the point for Gordie. You had to get both of them. Who has the record for career penalty minutes? 3,966 in the years 1974 to 1988. Oh, I remember this guy because that was my heyday of hockey.
74 to 88.
How about if you hold on to that answer? I'll give you time to think about it.
Go ahead.
But right now, it's time to find out who the Sixers are going to get, what kind of player they're going to get. And it looks like by all indications, if they sit at 3, they're going to get one of the 2 players that played for Rutgers last year. We have the head coach of Rutgers basketball on the line, Steve Peichel. Steve, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Mike, thanks for having me on. Having a great day here at work.
Fantastic. Now, I know that you're busy in this crazy era. You have to rebuild your team here. But let's talk about the 2 guys that left your program, that made a mark on the program, and the Sixers may be interested in one of them. And we're talking, first of all, give us a scouting report on Dylan Harper, because I think that Dylan Harper is NBA ready right now, along with Cooper. So give me the idea.
I tell you, first of all, exciting to coach, both of those guys. Just, Dylan's super talented from an NBA family, an elite, finisher at the rim, just tremendous in the gym all the time kind of guy. His body and his game is ready right away too. And these kids are young kids, like too. So their best days are ahead of them. But Dylan was awesome to coach. I only had him too short of a period of time. I wish I could. The old days, I would have the guy for 3 years.
Yeah.
But not anymore. But Dylan, high-powered guard and physical, and he's a lefty, but can really finish with his right hand as well as anybody, and could score it, and just born to play basketball.
He reminds me of a bigger Jalen. He really does, Jalen Brunson. But I think he's NBA ready. So let's talk about the other guy, because the Sixers have 3, and by all measures, it looks like it'll go Cooper Flagg and it'll go Dylan Harper. So now the third comes into play, and the Sixers need a wing. You had a 6'10" guy play for you last year, 6'9", 6'10", Ace Bailey. Tell me about his game and why he may or may not be ready for this level right now.
First of all, he's a light the room up kind of personality. He's a high energy. He's young. He's 18 years old. He won't be 19 until August. Talent, just can score, and can score at all the levels, can get to the rim, terrific mid-range guy, and an elite three-point shooter too. And in the gym, great personality. Very competitive. Went to one high school, went to one AAU program, came to Rutgers, very confident, and, just an awesome, player to coach. And his best basketball is ahead of him. His body's still filling out. His parents are real tall. He could have a few more inches easily in him, and he could play multiple positions. He can handle the ball. He could play 1 through 4 at the NBA level. A really good ball handler. You didn't see that as much with us because I needed him to just score, and Dylan had the ball in his hands, but he can pass. He can make plays for people, and, he's very, very exciting, long wingspan, above the rim guy. I think very, very exciting basketball player.
Where is his best position in the NBA, you think? Is he a 3?
Yeah, he plays the 3 from day one. He really can handle the ball and make plays, though. Anytime he rebounded, he brought the ball up for us. You didn't see it as much because I needed him to score on our team, but he's a really good passer, and, he could play the 3. He could play some 2. He could score and shoot it and handle it and make plays, and he's got elite size. So, those are the 3 and the 2 right now is where he could play. When his body fills out, he'll be one of those perfect NBA guys that you could switch 1 through 4, and he could sit down and guard those kind of guys.
It's like he's got a lot of Jabari Smith in him. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he really does. He's, his ability, though, to create his own shot, and people would say he takes tough shots. Like I would say to him all the time, he doesn't take tough shots. Like he makes, the really good NBA players make tough shots, and that's what this guy does. So it's not a tough shot for him. So maybe a tough shot for a regular college player, or a pro player, but this guy makes and can get his shot off, at any time. I think he could end up being one of both these kids could be elite scorers, and they score.
Yeah. We're talking to Steve Peichel, who's the head coach of Rutgers basketball, where Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey played last year. You got 2 of the top high school recruits in the country. A tremendous coup for you at Rutgers. How did you pull that off?
In this day and age, too.
Yeah, how did you pull that off to get both of them?
First of all, awesome families they're both from, and they came for a lot of reasons because we haven't exactly been at the cutting edge of NIL here at Rutgers. So they came, they wanted to enjoy the university. I was lucky enough to have coached, Dylan's brother, Ron, who plays for the Detroit Pistons. And Ace, great kid. We recruited him, for a long time, too. So that kind of paid some dividends, too. But from their freshman year on, we were one of the, first schools involved. And as they grew in their stature and their rankings, more people, jumped on board. But we had been in for a while. Brandon Knight, my assistant, did a great job, recruiting. But just great kids. They wanted the experience here. They wanted to play in this league. And, we were just blessed that just only here for such a short time. That's the only thing. I wish I had 2 years with these guys because they kept getting better, too.
Yeah, Steve, here's what some people say. Okay, while these guys are talented players, you guys really weren't like the ultimate success last year. 15-17, you were 8-12 in the Big Ten, which was 11th. And so the knock is, these guys really help you win. Speak to that a little bit.
These kids are, like it's a new. We started 4 freshmen. We were just too young. I mean, we didn't have the NIL cap to go and get 26-year-olds and some of the teams we play against. But Dylan got hurt in the month of January, and I think we were 1 or 2 games out of the NCAA tournament, and having him be hurt and miss games at that time probably, hurt us. But, we play in a great league, and we're 15-7. We're 2 or 3 games away from, getting to the NCAA tournament. And these kids had great years. They were being double teamed all year. They saw everything in every game new. So they fought through all the challenges and all that. And, we didn't win as many games, obviously, but we played a really tough schedule, and they were a big part of us selling out 78 games, the last, 4 or 5 years, this year, certainly. So they did a lot of good. They, didn't win as many games as we like, but not because of their talent and their abilities. They were awesome.
Last question, Steve. What advice did you when these guys come in and say, we're going, and you kind of knew it after 1 year that both of them were going to go? What advice have you given them now that they entered this mature period of their life where they're going to be professionals?
Yeah, I mean, they were guys that loved basketball, and they were guys that I think were born to play basketball. When they walked in the gym door, they were the happiest. And it's harder, I think, on these kids nowadays. There's so many distractions now, in the world that they live in, social media wise and NIL wise. But when they walked in that gym, they were at peace. And I just tell them to enjoy this. They're great families. They're workers. They're young too. They're both 18. Enjoy the journey and keep enjoying being in the gym because they got elite work ethic.
Steve, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks so much for the scouting report. And it looks like the Sixers will get a good player if they don't decide to trade that pick. It's kind of a mess right here in the city, as you know.
These 2 guys would help them. I tell you that much, and they're ready to go.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Steve, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
That's Steve Peichel, the head coach of Rutgers basketball. So there you go, Bill. They were young.
Yeah. No,
he got hurt.
Yeah, he explained it a little bit. I mean, what he said about Ace Bailey, though, it does make you a little excited. But he talked about how the guy needs to grow into his body.
Yeah, they're 18 years old, both of them.
Young.
It's incredible. 610-632-0975. General knowledge is still coming up. Bill has an answer to give on the hockey, and then he gets another question. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
I believe.
Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. You can climb in 610-622-0975. Bill was owed an answer for, but Bill, you know what? I'm gonna give you a grace period because that was probably it's an old school guy that you don't know.
I would not have gotten it.
Yeah,
I would not have
his
gotten
name was Tiger Williams. He played with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the heyday of the Broad Street Bullies, and I remember him specifically because he was a no helmet man.
One of the last ones.
Yeah.
I believe the last player to not wear a helmet was Craig McTavish.
Yes, and he was grandfathered.
He was grandfathered.
Yeah. Tiger Williams was ferocious.
Worse than the Hammer? Schultz?
I think Tiger Williams was maybe a little better fighter.
Dude, they were allowed to like grab hair and
they were
headbutt
just-
and everything
just
else.
nuts. All right, so I'm going to give you another replacement question. Who has the record for the most Vezina trophies?
Oh, I should know this one.
1994 to 2001.
All right, I'm going to say it's one of three guys. I would either go with Marty Brodeur, Dominic Hasek, or Patrick Waugh. I'm going to say Marty Brodeur.
Incorrect.
Is it one of the other two?
It's Hasek with 6 Vezina trophies.
Damn it. How many did Marty Brodeur have?
I don't know how many Marty Brodeur
I'm
had.
looking it up. Damn it, I should have gone with Hasek.
Marty Brodeur has the record for the most wins.
Yeah, and Marty's got 4 Vezinas.
Dominic Hasek. You know, when people talk about the great goalies of all time, does he come up?
He does, I think.
Does?
He always had that hideous helmet.
He was fantastic.
Hated the helmet.
Hated the helmet.
Hated it.
All right, let's go back to the text board. Ray, we got a bunch of texts today on all the subjects we were talking about, so just rattle off a few of them.
Zach from Seattle. While I understand he broke a league rule by betting on his own team, it seems hypocritical to keep Rose on the restricted list after the MLB began making around $1 billion annually from sports betting. He should have been removed from the list while he was alive.
See, that's
an interesting point.
But that's an argument I don't know if I agree with, because you see it a lot, like that the league, like Isaiah Rodgers with the Eagles, you know, he was suspended when he was with the Colts for gambling. It's like, oh, well, the league embraces gambling. I get it, but it doesn't mean that you should gamble.
They don't embrace gambling with players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the players still should not be permitted to gamble because it brings into question the integrity of the sport.
Yeah, it just can alter the result. And that's the whole thing. You know, people. It's funny with Pete Rose. They go, "Well, he didn't alter the result. He's trying to win." Yeah, but he did alter the result because he was trying to win at his expense. You know, like not the team expense, his expense. It had to be singularly motivated to win when you got money on the game.
Yeah, you can't. You can't gamble. You can't do it in any line. Now, I had brought up kind of as a joke the Shohei Ohtani thing, but when that all broke with his translator, I'm thinking, oh man, this is gonna be bad for Shohei.
Yeah, that would have been the biggest scandal ever.
But that got kind of brushed under the rug pretty quick.
It really did. Did
Quickly
baseball brush it under the rug? Was he totally innocent?
It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe
that a guy could steal that much money from him and then not notice.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's go to Bill in Glen Olden. Bill, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Billy? How come Bill's not coming up here? Is he on hold?
Billy boy.
Hold on a second. Let me get this. Uh-oh. There we go. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
What's up, Bill?
Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, I was 14 years old watching the Astros play the Phillies. And I swear to God, without Pete Rose on that team, I don't think we would have made it to the World Series.
Well, a lot of people give him credit for pushing him over the top, but if you remember, he played the year before, and they didn't win anything.
I don't remember that. I'm kind of a.
He came in 1979. 1979 is when he came, and they didn't have that great of a year, and he didn't have that great of a year, if I remember.
Oh well, I'm a bandwagoner. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I hear you. A lot of people think he just showed up and they magically won, but they didn't win the year before.
Well, I know that Mike Schmidt gave him a lot of credit. He always talked him up and gave him confidence.
Yeah, he did. He did a lot for Mike Schmidt.
Well, what's your opinion? Do you think if he was on that team, do you think we would have beat the Astros that year?
No. Listen, he added another dimension to them. Now, they had to scrape by in that series. 4 of the games went to extra innings in that series before they finally prevailed. And they were like 3 outs away from losing to Nolan Ryan, and somehow came back and won that game. It was like a miracle game. That's the most miraculous series that I've ever seen, and it may be the most underrated moment in Philadelphia sports history. The way they won that series against Houston.
Yeah, that was great. But do you think he bet on that game?
Did he bet on that game? Like, who knows what he did as a player? You know, I would find it hard to believe that he didn't bet on baseball as a player.
Yeah, well, drugs are different than when it comes to drugs, it really does enhance your performance. So it is kind of unfair.
Yeah. All right, man. You want a general?
But he's in the Hall of Fame, ASAP.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Would you like a general knowledge question?
Of course.
Okay. What anatomical feature did the Velociraptors? What anatomical feature did the Velociraptors have in real life, but not in Jurassic Park? The Velociraptors. What did they have?
You're thinking the small hands like birds?
No, that'd be incorrect. Sorry about that. That's all right. Don't worry. Worry about it. What didn't they have?
Was it the wing or the face thing? Remember they?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Because
they had this in real life, but not in Jurassic Park. The Velociraptors. Ray? Got anything, Ray?
I got nothing.
Feathers.
Oh, someone said that in the YouTube chat.
Really? They had that right. Feathers.
Feathers.
Right. Ray's question.
So that would further that they've evolved from birds.
Ray.
They've evolved into birds.
There you go. Ray, what type of scientist was Werner von Braun?
Werner von Braun. A physicist.
No, he didn't get that, did he?
No.
I thought that was a good guess.
A physicist. Well, this is hard because Werner von Braun was a rocket scientist.
Oh, so technically he probably was a physicist
he was
as well.
the guy they brought from Germany to build NASA.
I think he should get another question for that because he's technically a physicist.
Technically,
right?
he is a physicist. All right,
so what? Rocket scientist was the less.
Rocket scientist was the answer. All right, let me give you another one here. What instrument did the devil play in the song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia"?
Oh man. Shoot. Oh God.
Devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for
bass, I don't know.
Oh no, fiddle!
Oh, he played the
fiddle.
That summer I spent
And
down
that was
south.
who did that song? What's his name?
The Devil Goes Down to Georgia.
Yeah, Devil Went Down to Georgia. You Google everything else.
couldn't
Google the
tell you.
damn thing, will you? Charlie Daniels, I think. Was it Charlie Daniels?
Good call, Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels, 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers have a new coach. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's reported the Flyers are going to hire Rick Tocchet as their new head coach. The former Vancouver Canucks head coach and, of course, former Flyers had 3 stops as a head coach with 2 playoff appearances in 9 seasons. We'll continue to react to the news that he will be the next Flyers head coach throughout the day here on the Fanatic. Tonight, the NFL will release its schedule. We already know 6 of the Birds games so far. The big news today was the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain reporting that the Eagles are headed to Kansas City for a Week 2 matchup, a rematch of the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. The Eagles, plenty of primetime games already announced, and Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas this morning to talk about how in demand this Eagles team is.
The Eagles are in demand in select certain spots, not your traditional Sunday game. Now, again, the Eagles are the only team to have virtually their entire schedule announced by now, but that comes with one of the perks of being a Super Bowl winner.
We'll keep you updated with any more scheduled leaks throughout the day. Phillies playing a doubleheader today with the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the first game. Aaron Nola on the mound for game 2. And you heard us earlier this hour speak with Steve Peichel of Rutgers men's basketball, the head coach there, talking about Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper and what Sixers could do with that third pick. This update's brought to you by Macy's Backstage. How do we find it? Macy's Backstage. How about essential warm weather styles, $30 under dresses, shoes, bags, men's and kids looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at Macy's Backstage near you. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Phillies are playing today. Phillies are in a doubleheader. And the lineup is the left-handed lineup. So is Brandon Marsh in the lineup today, Bill?
Marsh is in the lineup.
Marsh in the lineup
for this game. Now, whether or not he'll play tonight, too.
Yeah.
But
Beltman is not in the lineup tonight. Beltman.
You hate.
Not in the lineup.
Hate. But it looks like a mess down there, man.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to be in the crowd right now.
It's still misting out there?
And it's supposed to rain, I think, throughout the whole game.
Yeah, they're trying to get it in, trying to squeeze it in.
Which is crazy because tomorrow's an off day. But they're going to squeeze in 2 games today just because they want that off day.
All right. So I got the clarification that we've been talking about Pete Rose. Pete Rose has bypassed 15 years, which means the regular people that vote on the Hall of Fame don't vote on him. He now has a committee that votes on him, which includes about 6 Hall of Fame players, managers, and executives, 2 or 3 members or historians. So there's 16 people on this committee. It's a special committee, and you need 12 votes out of 16. They won't vote until December of 2027 on Pete Rose.
Okay, that's why I got confused because I must have read that when I said, well, they're not going to vote this year. It's not the Hall of Fame committee.
This committee is different.
It's his committee.
Right. It's a committee that will vote on him in December of 2027. So we still have a long time to go.
That's why it's just it's interesting that Major League Baseball chose a Tuesday in May to do this. And look, a lot of people are speculating it has to do with the fact that they don't want to have a bad relationship with the government right now, considering they're going in front of them for, I guess, this, antitrust stuff, Ray? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, still.
All right. In any event, the other news today, the Flyers have hired a head coach. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a Flyer.
Per reports,
Rick Tocchet.
See, that's what I disagree with.
Hired as the Flyers head coach.
That's the only place I disagree with you. Like, I don't necessarily, this isn't the hire I would have had. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm in the middle on it. But I can't classify Tocchet as just a former Flyer.
Right. You classify Rick Tocchet as a Flyer.
He is.
He is.
And he's in the Flyers Hall of Fame. He's talked about how it's in his blood.
But you're going down a really weak avenue here.
What I'm saying is I don't think it is fair to just look at Rick Tocchet and say, they went former Flyer again. That's not why he was hired.
But they did.
They did, but it's not all the guy is.
Of course it had something to do with it.
But it's not all that he is.
You're such a Flyer fan. It's unbelievable to you. You can't crack it.
I am telling you, he would not have been my top choice.
You can't crack this Flyer shell that you have. It is amazing.
That's not what it is. You can't look at a guy who's coached for 4 different franchises as a head coach and had different stops as an assistant.
Okay. Was he
and just
a
say he's a
wildly
Flyer.
successful coach? Then what was the turning point on him being hired?
Then why did Boston and Seattle want him?
I don't know.
Why did they want him? Because he was a Flyer?
I'm not worried about them. I'm looking at this. What pushed it over the top, you think? If he was not that successful of a coach, his familiarity with the organization is what
drop an organization
is what pushed
on me.
it over the top.
He drops the organization.
Hey, come on. What are we talking about? All right, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Steve in Westchester. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Stevie?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm okay. It was not too difficult to figure out which side of the aisle you guys are on the whole Rick Tocchet thing with that little diatribe just now.
Well, listen, Bill, listen, I love the Bill to death, but my God, he bleeds Flyer orange, for crying out loud. The people that are in this Flyer cult, it's unbelievable.
I'm with you. And look, there's 2 reasons that he should not have been hired, in my opinion. First of all, this whole thing, he had some sort of a gambling thing.
Yeah, he did, Bill. He had that little gambling situation.
He did.
So, yeah, you got that, number one. And then even, I'm not going to throw everything that happened in the sinking ship known as Vancouver right now on him. Pedersen is probably the biggest thing, but even if he was a small part of that, I think between that and the gambling thing, you got to stay away from a guy like this. Just forget the Flyer thing.
Well, to be fair, he's had time to rehab himself for the gambling thing because he's had other coaching jobs.
Yeah, we're going back 18 years. Going back. Ray wasn't even born yet when this happened.
Okay, but still, I still think between that and then the whole trying to get away from the whole hiring nothing but flyers things. I think they should have just made a stand and said no to this guy. Just
but the problem is the people who run it have the Flyer brand. See, this is my whole thing. I like Briere and I like Keith Jones, obviously, but the Flyer brand has let them down for many years.
I know. I know. It's the same thing. The definition of insanity. I just don't get it. But maybe this one will be different.
Listen, man. I don't know. Steve, let me give you a general knowledge question here. These are words pertaining to things. So if I give you the word renal, that pertains to what?
Kidneys.
That's correct. Bill had his eyes wide open like it was something vulgar.
I thought maybe it was.
All right, hold on. Hold on a second. Steve has the correct answer.
All right, so they've officially tied Ray 4-4.
They have. It's 4-4, Ray, and now Ray has a chance to go over the top. Ray, if I say cutaneous, that pertains to what? Cutaneous, cutaneous. Or cutaneous, however you pronounce it.
You could pronounce it 20 different ways, and I wouldn't have an answer for you.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Do you know that, Bill?
Cutaneous?
Cutaneous. Cutaneous. Yes, cutaneous.
Nah, I don't think I would know it either.
Skin. That pertains to the skin.
I was going to say nails. But...
Nails was my first thought.
All right, so it's 4-4. And Billy Boy?
I'm at 3. I could tie it up.
You can tie it up with a hockey question. Who has the record in the Stanley Cup Finals for saves?
Career or
as a goalie?
A single series.
2011 Stanley Cup Finals, the record for saves, all-time record for saves in the series, Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, man. Tim Thomas.
Oh, I don't believe it. That's correct.
Oh!
Tim Thomas. You get Tim Thomas. Man.
You gave me the year.
Oh, I shouldn't have given you the year.
And I'm thinking Bruins.
Tim Thomas. And then he went like to the crapper right after that.
Yeah, well, he had the whole thing. He boycotted the White House and he did that whole thing. Yeah.
And then he just faded out of hockey.
Man, that was a good one by me.
That wasn't bad. On the other side, I have a story about Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone fighting over Princess Diana.
What?
Yes.
How have I never heard this one?
I'll give you that story after this.
What a
the Mike
tease.
Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Connor Thomas.
97.5, The Fanatic. We're going to climb into the home stretch at 610-632-0975. Let's go back to the text board. I'm going to tell you a story about Sly and Richard Gere squaring up. Ray, what do you got on the text board?
That's Exeter chiming in on the Rick Tocchet hire. Garbage hiring by the Flyers. Absolute garbage. They hired this guy because we're rebuilding. He'll get the Brett Brown treatment. A mediocre head coach to lower expectations for the fans. The Flyers are going to be terrible for another 3 to 5 years.
Well, he's got a 5-year contract, so they're committed to him.
Yeah, I'm not looking at this hire as a Brett Brown type of hire. I think they look at Rick Tocchet as a guy who could lead this team to some playoff success. I think the rebuild is going to be on the way up next year and the year after. Yeah, you don't give a guy a 5-year contract, Mike. Mm-hmm. Now, we need details from the contract. You share an agent here. We should be getting inside scoops here.
Well, listen, sometimes the agent doesn't want to communicate with me on personal matters.
We need inside information, dude. We could have broke this story, damn it.
He actually called me during the show.
Well, he probably doesn't want to put it in writing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. In any event, God bless Rick Tocchet. He got a job, 5 years, $25 million, and he's back in his home environs.
And tonight, obviously, schedule release. Before you tell your story on Sly, there's been a whole bunch of leaks during our show. So piecing this together, here's what we got so far. Week 1, we knew Cowboys. Week 2, at Kansas City. Week 6, Thursday night football at New York is being reported. Week 8, at home against the Giants. Week 10, at the Packers on Monday Night Football. Week 13, Black Friday against Chicago. And then did you see this? They don't play the Commanders until Week 16 and then again Week 18. They saved the Commanders for the last 2. But we'll get the full schedule tonight, and then we will do W's and L's
That'll be
tomorrow.
fun tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the way the story goes. There's a new book out that details this story.
Who wrote it?
I don't know.
It's not by Sly or
No.
Richard Gere.
It's a new book called Diana World, An Obsession. Author is Edward White. So one story is that there's this big soiree going on at Elton John's house in the 90s. Right? So now Princess Diana was divorced in 96. So I don't know if this was prior to her divorce from Charles or after her divorce from Charles where people started flocking around. Because, people could have tried to hip check Charles out of the picture as she was married because that was a rocky relationship anyway, right?
Yeah.
So Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere are 2 of the A-listers that are invited to this party at Elton John's house, and Princess Diana is there. So Sly apparently goes to the party with the intention of picking up Diana.
Okay, Sly.
So he goes in and he sees Diana in deep conversation with Richard Gere, who got there first. He felt that Stallone apparently got angrier and angrier as the evening wore on because Richard Gere was just dominating the conversation with Diana. At some point, from what Elton John says, Sylvester Stallone, emotions got the better of him. He squares up to Richard Gere and goes to go. And they had to be separated. 2 alpha males squabbling over a woman who probably neither had a chance to be with. I don't know. I would think, who you taking in that battle?
Oh, my good. Are you kidding?
You taking Rocky?
Without a doubt, Rocky would have knocked him out, boy. I like Richard Gere, but he had no chance going up against Rocky Balboa.
So, Sylvester Stallone, apparently, his whole mission was to pick Diana up, and his plans for the evening were ruined by Richard Gere, who seemed very talky with Diana. I think Diana was digging Richie Gere.
Well, I mean, he is a very handsome man.
He was a handsome man back then, I assume.
I'm sure she liked the conversation better than, huh?
And apparently she was completely unruffled by the whole proceeding.
She probably loved it.
She was so dignified. Princess Diana.
But it never actually happened, right? Sly and Richard Gere didn't go to
They had to be separated. They're ready to go.
Wait, what was...
over a woman.
Although, I do have to say, I'm saying Rocky, Richard Gere as Lancelot in, right? Wasn't that movie with him and Sean Connery?
What about an Officer and a Gentleman?
Yeah.
Where he had the karate thing going.
Yeah,
where he
Richard
and
Gere.
and Lou Gossett went at each other.
Ooh, I don't know, man. But then you got Rambo. And don't forget Over the Top. Ugh. But they arm wrestled for Richard Gere was in trouble.
I'll go to Elton John's party, man. Princess Diana's going there. I'll go pick her up.
Oh, man.
That's a different level, dude.
Oh, I got to read this
Crazy.
story now.
That is crazy.
Elton John party. That was probably
The
a
Elton John
wild party.
Now, also, apparently, Stallone and Gere weren't the only stars who were reportedly eager to spend the night with the princess. You ready for this? Freddie Mercury of Queen, who was gay.
Interesting.
Freddie wanted to cross over.
But Freddie Mercury had a wife, right?
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Yeah, didn't he write that song about her?
Wasn't he just straight gay?
There's that one song that Freddie Mercury wrote. I'm forgetting what it is now.
Anyway, he managed to get Diana to sneak out of the palace in disguise and meet him at one of London's most famous gay bars. Don't you love this gossip, man?
This is crazy stuff. I mean, especially because, like, Freddie Mercury and Princess Diana, they're not even here to refute these claims.
All right, let's recap all the stuff we did today. Pete Rose, off the restricted list, will be voted on by a select committee in December of 2027. So, do you think he gets in, Bill?
Oh, man. I think he should get in, but knowing what we have learned to know, is that right? We've come to know, learned to know about these Baseball Hall of Fame voters. I don't think they're going to vote him in.
No? The special committee with Hall of Famers on it?
I think, Kevin Cooney was in our YouTube chat earlier, and I agree with him. He said a lot of these old-timers were really annoyed when Pete Rose used to do what he used to do, setting up the autographs and all at Cooperstown. I don't think they're going to vote him in. He should be in, but I don't think they're going to do it.
6 Hall of Fame players, managers, and executives, plus 2 or 3 media members or historians. 16 people on the committee altogether. You need 12 of 16 to
That's
get
hard,
in.
man.
You think? 12 of 16? I don't know.
I don't think he's going to get in. Ray, you think they're going to vote him in?
I think he's going to get in.
All right. The other story we talked about was Joel Embiid. It didn't get much traction, but I'm telling you, I want you to hear this quote. Ray, can we play this one more time? This is Nick Nurse, who was on with our pal Mike Gill, and he was talking about how things fell apart for the Sixers. Now, I just want you to pay attention to a pause and then what he says about Joel Embiid.
I don't know the exact, pinpoint of when it was, but the rough general, the trade deadline comes and goes, and we make another little run to get some guys back healthy, and we just started losing more guys, and Joel didn't, decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year, and Tyrese got hurt. At that point, you were kind of like, this is not our year.
He decides he doesn't want to play the rest of the year. Bill, did you hear that? Does that not strike you?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just immune to all this now, but I'm not that shocked by it. I don't know if it was just Joel saying, I don't want to play.
He didn't say he was incapable of playing the rest of the year. He said he decides not to play the rest of the year.
And again, going back, I don't know the exact quotes, but Morey and Nurse, when they've spoken, it did sound like they wanted Joel to play this year. He just felt like he couldn't. He felt like he couldn't play at the level that he was used to playing, and I guess him and the doctors decided it was best to shut it down.
Oh, him and the doctors decided? How come Nick Nurse didn't say the doctors decided he shouldn't play the rest of the year? He said Embiid decided. He didn't say the doctors decided.
Yeah.
What are you hearing there?
No, you're right. It's not a good look for Joel Embiid in that situation.
All right, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, you Flyer fans out there, Rick Tocchet, former Flyer, is your head coach. Congratulations to Rick. I'm sure we'll have him on. And listen, I like the guy a lot. I know a lot of people like him. He's a very popular guy. I wish the Flyers would go in different directions. I really do. This ex-Flyer thing, it just, to me, it doesn't, I don't know. I'm just down on it.
Look, I've told you, if you want to debate whether or not Rick Tocchet, the coach, was the right hire, I understand that. I just can't get behind, he's the former Flyer, so I'm not going to like it. If he was just a former Flyer, he would not have had 4 head coaching jobs already. He wouldn't have won the Jack Adams. He wouldn't have been interviewed by the Boston Bruins and the Seattle Kraken. Like, he's more than just a former Flyer, Mike.
He's not. He has a Flyer brand because he cut his teeth here.
Yeah,
he is a
what does that
Philadelphia
mean, then?
Flyer. No matter where he's gone, he was perceived as a Philadelphia Flyer.
And to you, that should have completely eliminated him from contention.
Yes.
See, I can't get behind it.
Yes. That should have completely eliminated it. But it didn't, and he's now your head coach. So what do you want from me? You see it a different way. You are a tried and true Flyer man. And so you give them every benefit of the doubt that you can.
Well, look.
Let's face it. You do that, right? Will you admit that?
Not the Flyers themselves, all right? I'm giving Danny Briere and Keith Jones every benefit of the doubt right now because when they took things over, I like the direction of this franchise since they've taken it over. This is their first coaching hire. Now, this is Briere and Jones' first coaching hire. They didn't hire Tortorella. They were the ones that made the decision to fire Tortorella. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Couldn't they have gotten a little more innovative with their hire here? If this is their first hire, to bring back a guy who he's been a mediocre coach, let's face it. He's been with several franchises. He hasn't really dazzled anybody as a head coach.
Well, he did win the Jack Adams 2 seasons ago. So, I mean, he clearly dazzled the rest of the league because he won Coach of the Year. And when you look at his time in Arizona, and this is going to sound like I'm making excuses for him, but Arizona is a terrible place to play, to coach. They don't invest in their team the way you do in Philadelphia, or the way we have in Philadelphia, not recently. I'm not ready to say that it's a subpar hiring. It's not the guy I would
have an inherent trust in people with a Flyer brand. I want to hear you say that right now.
That's not.
I want to hear you say, because you don't know what Danny Briere and Keith Jones have done. What have they done? What are you seeing that they've done? But you have an inherent trust for those guys.
Right now, I have a trust for Danny Briere and Keith Jones.
Why?
Because I think the moves that they have made have helped put this team in the right direction.
And here's the reason why. Because they're ex-Flyers. That's the reason. And you won't even admit it. You won't have the gumption to admit it.
Ray, hit the horn, baby. Michkov, baby. That's all I got to say.
Thanks for listening.
Hit the horn, Ray.
Everybody, we had a great time talking to everybody today. Our phone system went out a little bit, but we got it back. We'll be back at it tomorrow with the Eagles schedule. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.